There's nothing to worry about. You're gonna be just fine. I'm your #1 fan.
She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Listen, asshole!
No, you listen, you little bitch. You hang up on me again, I'll cut you like a fish.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
It was an excellent day for an exorcism.
I am Dracula.
I am eternal child. I am the eater of worlds and of children.
Do I got a desktop audio here? See, I wasn't even prepared today. That's how unprepared I was today. Let me get the desktop audio up so you can hear Rob's beautiful voice tonight. There he is. He is live, and we're still not. No, we gotta get the properties and change the properties to my headphones. You know, it's there we go. We're here, live in living color. Audio is here. Audio is here. The WOLF-PAC is back, baby. We are here live on Twitch right now. Yeah. Nights of Horror Radio. Woo. And I want to talk a little bit of a funny story about leading up to tonight's episode was I asked Rob to pick a band of the night. He could not choose one band, so we're going to take 3 different breaks throughout the episode tonight because I wanted to make sure Rob gets to hear all his bands. So.
I couldn't decide. I'm indecisive.
So we got a good list of music picked out, handpicked by the Howling Hour himself, Rob. So I'm excited. Chair dance party. That's what I got. Yeah. Got a little chair dance party.
As long as you can move your shoulders, like you're good to go with the chair dancing.
Dude, how you been, man? I mean, it's been it's been a tough time in Southern California right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to harp on negativeness, but I would like to address the the fires going on. That's pretty insane. I think it was, would they start last week? Tuesday. So they've been going for a week, but unfortunately, and it, I don't know, whatever your beliefs are, I believe in a God and the God, in my opinion. But prayers to everyone out there for their safety and the firefighters and everything, out there, first responders, all those guys putting their lives on the line to save other people. So all the men and women who in uniform who are out there saving, even the volunteers, all of you guys. So thank you so much. And, thoughts and prayers to all of you who were affected by it. So I don't want to say I am close. I'm not close to it. I definitely, it's in the vicinity of I'm in LA County, so I could kind of see, if I drive, 5-10 minutes north, I can see the fire, but, I'm not at all like affected by it. So definitely I have a more concern for the people, out there, Palisades and all that, and out that way. So just, be safe. And come together. There's no time for division right now, and just pointing fingers. Just come together, and we do. I feel like I've seen a lot of positive things on the Instagram. So I mean, I don't want to harp on the fire. I feel like that's just thing going on right now. So,
just one last quick thing to add to that. I mean, of course, all the first responders, thank you so much. They're out there day and night working their asses off to put out these fires. And to all those affected, I mean, it is deeply sad to see all that damage done. But I could not believe how awesome it's been to see the response of not only Southern California, California as a whole, but the entire United States, some way, some form helping of anything. And I want to give a special shout out to the Pasadena Humane Society.
They've been killing it out there, man.
They are rock stars out there. They are helping endangered animals and lost animals. And they were a little overbooked, so they were asking out donations. From what I heard, they were overwhelmed in a positive way with donations, and they were starting to send them elsewhere to other shelters that were really in need.
That's awesome.
So, you know, if you guys have, you know, any extra change or cash laying around, and you can find some way somehow to donate any way to any of these, you know, fires that need all the help that they can get right now for any donations, food, water, clothes, anything you can donate, pet food, all that stuff, blankets, anything you can donate. I mean, they will happily accept it right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And when I get paid at the end of the month, sadly, I'm very broke right now, but when I do get paid at the end of the month, I will be making some donations to various charities and whatnot to help a little bit.
Even I'll say, if you maybe everyone, Christmas just happened, so we're all financially strapped. But try and I would say even, which I think is more valuable than money, your time. If you can donate a few hours to just passing out waters and stuff, you know, that's appreciated too. So, and then also too, you know, just to kind of piggyback what you said about everyone from all over the United States, I would say even we're getting people
outside.
From
yes,
so,
Mexico and
you know,
Canada, big time help.
They came, you know, they came down and they came up to help. So, you know, it's just it's a sad thing, but it's also very inspiring to see just all you know, humanity, not even America, just humanity coming together when you know, to help out, you know, especially like California. Obviously we're here, so we kind of see it, but for them to come out here and help us out, you know, everyone, you know, across the world, just thank you.
Yeah, and I haven't had much time to really address the situation and address of what was going on, but I felt this was a good time to address it. We normally don't get involved with, you know, world events or politics or whatever it is, but you know, Southern California is Rob and I's home. It's Hayes' home. Sammy, even though he lives in Arizona, this will always be his home.
Yeah, he was here.
You know, like, this is our home, and we have never seen anything like this. I don't think anyone has ever seen anything at this destructive of a level in California. So, you know, it's just very shocking. It's very sad, but it is amazing to see the community all around, everywhere. We just got Vertigo subscribed for 23 months. I do apologize for that, but it scared me real quick. I can hear it in my headphones. Like you said, I'm in my own little box, you know, it's like, but we just wanted to give a big shout out to all the first responders, everyone who is volunteering, and everyone who has donated anything, whether it's money, if that's the only thing you can give if you're far away, or just packages. I know my sister put together a nice little package of just like,
that's awesome.
You know, stuff for, you know, deodorant, you know, shampoos and stuff like
that,
toiletries, you know,
stuff like
toiletries, things that you need. So her and her boyfriend put together, and at the end of the month, I will be one of them. I'm going to be obviously donating to is any of the shelters that need it, and of course something that can help with the community as well. So go out and donate. Go out, volunteer your time if you live in the area and you can volunteer your time and you have the free time to do so. They can use all the help they can get. But SoCal strong. We will recover. We will rebuild, and we will rise from the ashes.
Yes, like the Phoenix.
Like the Phoenix. We will come back even stronger than ever. And we are at Nights of Horror. We are with anyone who is affected by them. So if you guys want to DM us personally and, you know, talk anything, we're here. You know, we know it's a tough, difficult time for a lot of people. But with that being said, the sad stuff is out of the way. The serious stuff is out of the way. Let's get into what you guys are all here for. The WOLF-PAC is back. We are here live on the first ever Nights of Horror Radio of 2025, live here on Twitch. And we are just so excited about what is to come for Haunt Season 2025. There is a lot of rumor, a lot of speculation already going around. This started right after Haunt Season ended. I don't think the Haunt community sleeps at all. We go through every single month, every single day of the year thinking and talking about Haunt.
At this point, it really is 12 months a year.
It's a lifestyle at this point, you know? So today we are going to be breaking down the latest and newest, the first speculation map from HNNIGHTMARES. We love the fine people over at HNNIGHTMARES. For years, they've been releasing speculation maps that are very scary accurate. I will use John's words on that one. And they do great work and have a great community there and a good following. So much like a lot of other people in the community, we are also going to be giving our theories, thoughts, and speculations. to said speculation map. Now, obviously, if you guys follow HN Nightmares for sure on Twitter, you can find said speculation map. I will not be showing it too much. We will do our best to explain it as much as we possibly can. But there are 2 speculation maps available right now, one for Orlando and one for Hollywood. Today we're going to be focusing on the Hollywood one since we are SoCal strong over here. We're going to be focusing on the Hollywood one. They are doing the logos again, and the logos for me sometimes become very difficult. Last time we did this, I think Rob was getting better speculations than I was. So I got a few speculations I'm going to throw out there that have been talked about and things that I've thought about for, of course, the future of HHN. And we'll see what goes on. So let's just jump right into it, I guess. We're going to start, I guess we'll start in the top left with the present with the 2 question marks. Soundstage 12, which I believe was that, I think, Universal Monsters.
I think that was Universal Monsters.
So it looks like if speculation and rumor becomes reality later on in the season, we might be getting...
Oh, I lost you.
Freaking wire. I need to get into it.
Oh, there we go.
It just does that. It does that. But I'm glad I got people like you to call it out. So, I don't know how you felt about going into Soundstage 12 this year, but I, as a movie fan, that was just an experience of a lifetime of its own.
Oh yeah, 100%. Just the history of the soundstage was really cool just to be in there, and also we got another different area for a house. So overall, if they do bring it back, definitely a positive thing. Not gonna complain about it. It is a little bit of a walk, but I gotta walk a little bit. So
interesting line set up, I will say, but they figured it out.
Yeah. I just the only issue, not even issue, I don't want to be like complaining. The only thing I was just like, I felt like it was like a small area or a small house in a big area. Like
I can see that.
So that was like I was just like, I walked in and I was just like, oh man, it looks cool. And I was like, man, there's a lot of space in here. That'd be like something like if like the Weekend didn't have like that huge facade, it was like small. I would just be like, because it's a big area. So when I walked in there, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh, like it looks cool, but also it's huge in here. It feels kind of empty. But
you could put like 2 mazes back to back in there if you really wanted to.
I feel like the size of the Universal Monsters house, you could have put another house back there, maybe a little smaller or the same size, even maybe a little bigger, because I felt like there was a lot of room in there.
Yeah, there was a ton of room in there. Obviously, noted as the biggest soundstage on the lot, and so many iconic films, much like Frankenstein, Dracula, Jurassic Park, The Voice shot in there for many years. So many iconic films shot in that huge. Scarface was shot in there. It's just incredible to see what they were able to accomplish with that maze. I know it for a lot of people, they didn't enjoy the maze, and it was mostly, from the consensus that I've heard, was due to the I believe it was due to the lack of talent for them.
Okay. I can see that.
But I felt that was just across the board overall at Halloween Horror Nights last year.
I agree. I think I only went one day. I know you went a couple more days than me, right? I think you went
2 days total.
Okay, you went 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just went one day. I was able to go through the Universal Monsters maze 2 times, and I will say, I agree with you. The talent was. I feel like the first time I went through it, it was good. Maybe 1 person or 2 people weren't there, but the second time I went through it is when I was just like, oh yeah, this person's missing, and it was just kind of like, I understand the complaint. Overall the house I really enjoyed. I thought it was really cool. Sets were awesome. The way the characters looked, thought all that stuff was cool. But yeah, definitely the talent wise, and like I'm gonna echo you. The lack of talent throughout the houses you felt that throughout all the houses, not just that one.
Yeah, I think that for me the worst walkthroughs I had this season were the maze that I was actually looking forward to the most, which was Dead Exposure.
Same.
I had very terrible walkthroughs both nights that I went, but I had heard that mid to later of the season it got a lot better. So good. I'm glad that maze was able to recover.
Yeah, that's always that's always tough. And this is definitely not criticizing anything, more constructive criticism, but it's always tough because that happens a lot with a lot of the theme parks. Is like when you go at the very beginning, you know, they're still kind of working out stuff and everything, and then as the season progresses, you know, they fine tune it. But it always sucks for, like, more specifically, like Horror Nights. For me, I only go typically once, maybe I'll go twice, you know, in October sometime, but typically it's just once. So if I get a bad night, then that's what I'm stuck with. Whereas I see people like, our buddy Scott and, John, who, Nico, who go several times where they're like, oh man, this one was this one was this one, I rate this one like a 8 out of 10. Where I'm looking at him thinking, I'm like, well, like, did they see something I didn't? Because I thought that maze was like a 4 out of 10,
Right.
and or this one's a 5 out of 10, and they're rating it higher. So, but again, that goes to what you say. It's like throughout the season that things just get more fine tuned.
Let me turn this around on you now, because you'll be able to relate to this a lot more than Halloween Horror Nights. Talk about knots. You had a pass this year. You noticed changes every single week as you went up until the very end. Same goes with Halloween Horror Nights. You get the frequent fear pass. You go every week. You're gonna start seeing talent pulled and put into other places.
Right.
You'll start seeing changes to scenes. There was one year I remember going when we had a frequent fear. It's when they did Stranger Things. I believe it was season 2.
Okay.
And I remember walking in the maze the first night, and I got one experience. And then I walked in, I remember like mid-season, or like literally the next weekend, and I saw someone playing Steve, and they had the baseball bat with the nails in it. And I didn't see that the first walkthrough. So things like that, it's minor things that, like, as a diehard fan, you're going to pick up on, like, especially if you're walking through these mazes. Yeah. If you're a diehard going every single night of the event, if you're walking through each maze every single night, you're going to pick up on things that you haven't seen. Or if you take a break and then come back another day and be like, oh shit, this is a completely different experience.
I also think too, like, I really, like, as far as numbers wise, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Like, I don't know where we fit, like, if we're the minority or if we're the majority when it comes to, like, as far as, like, the numbers of how many people, like, go in a night. Like, is it mostly like casual fans, or is it like diehards like us? Because I would say, like, I think your casual fan isn't gonna notice Steve holding the bat or stuff like that. It's gonna be us who are in this space and have friends like you or like me or any number of our buddies who are there, who are like, oh, posting this and posting that, and we see it, we're like, oh, that wasn't there. When, like, I never got the gorilla in Dead Exposure.
Me neither. Not once. I was pissed.
I never got the gorilla, and I went through.
I never got Zarambe.
That's like that. I went through 3 times because I was like, every time I went through, there was like, the first time it was like 4 people were in there, 4 characters were in there. The second time it was like the same, and the third time I felt like there was a couple more, like maybe 5 or 6, but I just kept getting bad run throughs. So I was just like, all right, I
now
give
from
up. But
I will defend this maze in a scenic design point of view, it looks stunning. It looked like I was in a laboratory, everything.
Yeah.
It looked incredible. Just the fact that the main reason of going through these is having people jump out of you. Now, I don't know if this year was a low cast issue, if a lot of people dropped out before the event started. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But I made the argument last year that if Universal is going to sell early entry separate now, from now on, they need to have a cast ready to go to fill every maze that they're going to have open within the early entry times. I just think so, because if you're going to pay $10 extra for early entry, I want to see these mazes doesn't have to be at like complete full capacity, but a good 75 to 80% capacity.
No, I'm gonna disagree with you. I think if the price they're charging, how many people they let in, and the fact that yes, they are charging early entry now. I think they need to be at 100%. Like
Okay.
you need to have.
You're being more mean than I am. I was being nice.
Yeah, no, because because I could see like, okay, early entry, when they were doing the early entry. Okay, so I remember. Let me just
Let's take a little trip down memory lane,
I'm gonna
shall
take
we?
a little trip down. I remember when the early entry was specifically, it was like I don't know if it was first or came second, but it was either early entry was for online purchasers, like who bought their ticket online,
Right.
or it and there was a time where it was just for people who got the express. It wasn't for the general, and this is early, like
It was it's always been for general too.
no, it was. I remember there was a year or two where it was only Express got early entry. Like
That might have been like the first maybe year or two.
this had to be like no, this was like 2009, I think 2008,
Oh, okay.
2009.
That's before my
2010.
time then. You're
Yeah,
a little bit more experienced, more nice than I am.
This was like around like 2008 to 2011 or 12, around that time, where it was early entry was just for Express, and then it turned into and then it was if you got your tickets online, then you could get early entry, and then it started to be like, oh well, just everyone got early entry. So and to my point now is like, okay, like if they're not if you were not charging for early entry and the mazes were 25% staff, it's like, well, it's early entry, like what do you expect? But the fact that you are now charging for early entry, your houses, you need to be 100% staff, like if it was 7 o'clock, because you are now charging me $10 to $25 extra to get in. And also another thing too is if you get the RIP, I feel like you should get early entry with that, because I was very upset that I got the RIP and they were like, "Oh no, you can't come in until 7 o'clock."
Because you got unlimited front of the line. What do you need to go
I
early
know,
in for?
I know, but still, I wanted to be a part because
I will say this, and this is where I'll defend you on that. It does suck in the case if you have a later tour time.
And I had a later tour time.
And I understand that, because a lot of people will try to, when they first book the RIP tours, and that was the same problem that we had. We got like, I think 8 o'clock at our tour, which, it kind of sucked sitting up there for an hour watching everyone flood in. Like I was
pissed, bro.
Yeah,
I was pissed.
I was just more like, okay, at this point I'm just hungry. I've saved up my appetite and I know the meal is first. Can we just hurry and get to the meal? But I will say this. It does suck kind of sitting up there. I think that as long as you're back in that area before your scheduled tour time, I don't think there should be a problem.
Yeah.
As far as like, when you look at it in a point of view for like you and I, we would probably stay in the upper portion of the lot, only in the sense that like, okay, we'll hang out in the scare zones for a little bit, grab a couple photos, grab a couple video, B-roll, whatever it may be. And then when it's our scheduled time, go right down the street again, go back to the entrance, go up to the VIP, and then meet with our group. So it's like, for people like you and I, it is kind of a bummer, because it does kill in some opportunity of us getting footage or pictures, and that could be like a whole hour, 45 minutes of just us just sitting out in the street doing that, so.
Yeah. See, I think mine was like 8 o'clock as well. But so they when they let me in, it was closer to like 6:37 when they let me into like, oh, you're gonna go wait upstairs. And I was like talking to everyone. I was just like, hey, like I just want to just let me out there for a little bit. Like I'm gonna come back. Like just let me out there for a little. I finally, after like 20 minutes of like going to this person, going to this person, going to this person, they were like, okay, yeah, just be back by like 7:50 for your 8 o'clock like thing or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. So I did get to go hit some houses, for like 30 minutes, but I was angry about that.
I don't blame you. It does suck, especially because, like you said, you're paying all that money, so I should have that. I should have early entry just kind of covered on that. But yeah, it is a bummer. It really is. Maybe I've done it once. You've done it once now. I don't think you had a choice your first weekend. You just was the only thing that was available. That was Express.
Because I waited so long to get it, because you know what, I had hope. I have I had faith that, because I had reached out to Universal, and it was kind of like I was waiting for them to get back to me, and when they got back to me, and it was just like, hey, like, sorry, it's just like we got other people, and I was like, okay, I understand. And then when I went to go get my ticket, it was just like, oh, all the express was sold out for like the entire weekend. So I was just like, dang it.
I finally learned last year that was the last year that I'm doing just to hold off on media.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna buy a ticket early on, and if I happen to get media, then I will be generous enough to do a giveaway. Like, as simple as that, because I don't want the ticket to go to waste. So it's
right.
like, or I could just redeem it again and go through more mazes. It's
I was gonna say,
go through it a second
that.
time,
You
get some more walkthroughs. But
you could do that.
I mean, I barely finished the damn fucking event on an opening night, like, right on time. Like, I always try to get up there that last hour just so I can catch Chainsaw Chase out. But
see, and well, that was my fault though, because I missed Chainsaw Chase out, but that was only because I was hanging out with John and was it Ariana? Yeah, I think Ariana. So I was like, we were at I think we did Insidious like 4 or 5 times. We were just like, let's do it again. So
I hated that maze. I wasn't a fan of that one.
Really? You didn't? I liked it a lot.
It wasn't scary, and I've already seen everything they've thrown at me.
Yeah, I get that.
I obviously with the newer movie I didn't see, so that was cool to see the newer stuff. But like, for the most part, half that maze was stuff I've already seen. So it was like,
yeah,
that's another thing that I kind of have an issue with, is like things that return. Like, I get it from a marketing standpoint. There are a lot of people out there that have never been to Halloween Horror Nights, and so they will be experiencing these properties for the first time.
Right.
But then there's another majority group that have been going for 10 years, 20 years, whatever, however long that, you've been going for a while, I've been going for a while, and so you've seen properties shuffle and come in and out, left and right. Rebooted for again, they do it again and again, the same exact one. I get it on two, points of views. I can see why a lot of people get excited for it who have never been to Halloween Horror Nights at all.
Right.
But then I can see the people that are like me who are like, that's cool, but like, I've kind of already seen that.
I've seen it.
It's like, I'm not saying I'm not going to give it a shot because it may surprise me, but at the same time, I'm like, there's so many other properties I would have liked to have seen, but
yeah,
it is what it is. And the end of the day, I always say, like, every time I talk about Halloween Horror Nights, everybody for some reason thinks I'm a hater of Halloween Horror Nights. I'm not a hater of Halloween Horror Nights. If it wasn't for Halloween Horror Nights, I don't think I'd be doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
But I think that with a haunt that you love so much, you're going to continue to give constructive criticism, of things that you've liked in the past, things that you want to see in the future. You're going to just, things that you didn't like, things that you did like. You're going to hear it from a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. And then, too, I think also, like, more specifically with you, like, I've never felt like you're a hater of the event. I think you've never, all the times, whether on camera or off camera, we've talked about, like, criticisms of events, and specifically Horror Nights. Like, you've had it's not, you're not just like, oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like it because it sucked. You like, no, I felt like this, I felt like that. And you were always open to your mind being changed. And that's like 100% proof with,
last year.
I would say the first weekend, the first year the weekend was there. You hated the idea.
I still do.
Of it. I know, but you were willing to admit when you came back, you were like, the maze was
it was
cool.
good.
The
yeah.
maze was
and
cool.
I will be the first to admit, last year's weekend maze was probably the best walkthrough both days that I went of all the mazes I went through. Like, hands down. Like,
yeah,
I can't deny when something's good. Like, even if I don't like it, I'm not a fan of it, I'm not going to deny that it's not good.
Yeah.
I've always said on this platform, I will be the first to admit when I'm wrong about something. And I was the first to come out and say, on that vlog, to everyone that was there that opening night when that first weekend maze came, I was the first to say that actually wasn't that bad. I actually enjoyed it. So it's just one of those things as a fan. You want to see the continued. You want to see things that made you fall in love with this event. And I feel like with Halloween Horror Nights, I do get elements of that a lot still.
Right.
But then there's some things that I feel like just were either rushed or last minute, and it just doesn't turn out as good as it could have been.
Yeah, I mean, we've been going long enough to know that that happens every year. That's
it's
that's
not
an every
just
year thing.
And I'll go out and say this: it's not just Halloween Horror Nights. It's
Yeah.
every haunt across the board. There's always going to be something to nitpick or something that you didn't like, something that you did. You know, we talk about this across the board. I have a couple issues that I had. As fun as it was, and as much love as I have for it, I had a few issues with Dark Harbor this year. You know, and it was just nothing that was, you know, major. It was just little things that made the event in the past a lot easier and a lot more memorable than what I got this year. Not saying that what we got this year was terrible. I loved what we got this year.
Yeah.
But like the parking situation was terrible.
Yeah.
And I wasn't I enjoyed it, but I do miss the opening of the gates.
Yeah. Yeah. See, okay. So I did not experience this, but I've seen other people's videos, and I understand this. It would have drove me crazy. Fortunately for me, you know, I didn't have to wait, but so there was like time slots, right? Like you had time slots to come in, and
I think by the end of the season though, they didn't even care. They were just trying to get everyone in at a certain time.
Yeah, no, but at the beginning of the season, I know that for sure. There was like 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, like, and it's just like that would kind of drive me crazy waiting in line while you could be letting us in, and I'm hearing other people getting scared. I'd be like,
yeah, it's a major tease. It really was. And God bless Costco this year. Best deal ever. 2 express ticket, so they had 3 tiers of tickets, right? So they had you had, of course, the standard GA. You had a 1/3 express ticket, which you waited like 1/3 of the line, and then you had the full on just front of the line. And of course, you had your VIP and everything. But like as far as the 3, those are the 3 that everyone was buying. I would be honest with you, because we went 3 times this year. I'm telling you, Costco was just a miracle worker this year. 2 for, I believe, $80 was for the 1/3 line tickets, and you could tell how many people bought those from Costco by just how long the lines were in that specific line. I was like, at times, general admission just felt shorter than our line. But I will say this, man. I mean, you know, coming back to Horror Nights, I mean, and I know we're supposed to be talking about a speculation map, but
we went on a little tangent.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that you know, with haunts across the board, especially on our platform, and we're very vocal about, you know, we're giving you our real and honest opinions about the haunt and horror community, because
stuff here.
We don't want to, you know, and I'm not saying people do. I mean, there is people that do this, but no one in our community that does this. But, you know, we don't like to come on on the show and you know, praise something just so we can try to get something. That's not what we're about.
Yeah.
We're going to give you our genuine opinions, our genuine thoughts and reactions on things, and how we see, you know, we may be looking at it a completely wrong way. Maybe their formula they're doing now is working. I will say this with Horror Nights this year, crowd levels were a lot less lower this year. And I very much appreciate that. I know that's been an issue for overselling the event. Seems like this year they kind of went down a little bit because, like John said, and he went more than us, there was not one line that was over 60 minutes this season, which is, in my opinion, that's pretty doable on a given night, especially like on a pack night, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So
I feel like, I mean, I've seen a lot of the John's things, but I don't remember him saying that, but that's really cool because I don't remember ever going like
in the last at least 6-7 years, you know.
We're line like for popular maze, I mean the lines were at least like 90 to like 120 minutes sometimes.
You're waiting anywhere from fucking 2 to 3 hour waits sometimes. When Last of Us came, it got to like 4 hours. Fuck.
Oh yeah,
it was, dude, that was the worst, that I think, by far.
That day when like for the year The Last of Us, that opening day was insane.
No,
like
the run in general, dude. Like, I have to say, when I say I've never seen this in all the years I've gone to Halloween Horror Nights, it absolutely shocked me when I heard employees having to turn people away because the line was at capacity. And that was the night I went with RIP. So we had, you know how that is. You get your own line, you walk straight to the front.
Yeah.
And I remember we were going in and they were turning people away and they tried to turn us away, but then they saw what we had and then they let us through. So then I looked at the line. I'm like, this is a fucking, I don't think in the history of this event I've ever seen a wait for a maze at 4 hours. I don't.
Yeah.
Ever.
I know that was crazy.
And
No,
that shows you how much pull that property had.
Oh yeah, for sure. There was so much hype around it. Like,
Oh, and it was great.
oh yeah, 100%.
I'm waiting for part 2.
It's gonna come. It's gonna come.
Okay, so I'm gonna get back to the.
Let's go. Let's go.
So I gotta. Now I'm looking at this more. I gotta make note of this. There are 3 locations, which is Soundstage 12, Soundstage 15, where Weekend was.
Yeah.
And the Terror Tram that have presents with question marks. So I'm assuming maybe those haven't been finalized yet. Maybe it's still maybe it's gonna be a surprise. I don't know. We'll talk about those last because we'll give our speculations to those last. Maybe of just horror movies and whatnot we can think about. Let's talk about the stuff we have logos with. I'm gonna take it back down right there. We're gonna start instead of the top left, we're gonna bottom left. The ghost with the hat and the Christmas lights. Everything is Christmas themed here. By the way, I don't know
if doesn't mean it's gonna be a I don't think it's gonna be a Christmas made. They're just all gonna be Christmas.
That was the first thing that came to my head when I first saw this map. I'm like, are they doing a Christmas Halloween event?
It's like Christmas theme completely.
I think you would be happy about it.
I mean, best of both worlds, right? I get the Christmas lights and
the
scares.
Universal. Can Rob show up as Santa Claus?
Yeah,
that's the rule we need to have right now.
Yeah, the suit's right over there.
It's hanging in for another season, huh?
Yeah, it's just hanging in there.
Who
knows? I might pull it out just because.
We'll try to do a live stream in July so we can do a Christmas in July kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though you'll be hot as fuck, just gonna have the AC blasted.
Dude, no matter what, that suit is hot. Bro.
Even you could be in the freaking Antarctica and it'd still be hot.
Yeah, that suit is just hot. Like I run hot in that suit. So
you run hot in general. If you ever catch Robin out in a nighttime environment, he's always wearing a t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah, I have a hoodie on right now because it's like cool, and I'm just like, oh, I like my Hollow
cozy
hoodie. I'm being cozy right now. But yeah, you catch
the one you got on sale.
Yeah,
we like sale stuff.
We love sales, bro. I was so happy.
You should have been there the closing night at Dark Harbor. You could have gotten so much sale T-shirts and everything.
I know. And maybe next year.
Late night boys, indeed. Hoodies are just wearable blankets. Indeed, Aaron. I have to agree 100%. It helps me at least at freaking work when it's been getting cold at night. So
yeah. Pretty cold. No, I like hoodies.
Hoodies, yeah, you do.
It was more for the gym though. I was like, I want this for the gym.
You do. You do like your hoodies. I know you do. You always go for the hoodie at every event we go to, and I always try to look for the hoodie now, knowing that Rob wants a hoodie. Rob's like, I got too many T-shirts. Now I'm gonna start collecting hoodies.
Yeah, start collecting hoodies.
Now Robin's gonna get even more pissed because there's gonna be no closet space.
No, dude, she jacked my Scary Farm hoodie. She was just like, "Oh, this one's soft. I'm keeping it." I'm like, "That's mine, though." She's like, "No, it's mine now."
You're like, I offered to buy you one.
The other day, I was like, we took her car somewhere, and I went to the back seat because she was like, "Oh, I'm cold," so I went to get her blanket from the back seat, and I saw my hoodie under her blanket, and I was like, "Hey, that's mine." She's like, "It's mine now."
I love, if you guys know Rob, and we love having Rob on the channel anytime we can get him on or hang out with him anytime we can. But Rob, if you ever hang out with Rob for just one night, I guarantee you will hear at the very least 2 funny stories.
Yeah.
At the very least. I've heard, just when I think I've heard it all, he comes, well, there was this one time, and then he goes into a story that I've never heard. And and you could ask him, I'm sitting there just laughing, just entertained. Because the way Rob tells a story, he gets so animated with it. It's great.
I do. I'm a good storyteller.
I think we need to get you into stand-up comedy, buddy.
You know what?
I've thought about it myself.
I have thought about it, and people, like, I respect see, this is why I wouldn't even try. Because I respect the art of stand-up comedy, but like I've had people like tell me, like I've had people who've barely met me be like, "Dude, are you a comedian?" And I'm just like, "No." They're like, "You have a comedian vibe," and I'm just like, "Well, yeah, it is what it is."
Hey man, you just gotta hit him with that giraffe joke, and you're good. That's the opener right there.
Dude, that's my opener right there, bro.
Opener. That's how you set the tone right there.
Yeah, like this is what we're in for right now.
Aaron said, "High key bummed I didn't get the KSF Spirit jersey this past season." Yeah, dude, I know those are selling out quick this season.
Oh wait, from
for Scary Farm.
For Scary Farm, yeah.
Those sold out fucking quick.
Dude, you know what? let me tell you something.
Here we
What I
go.
was mad what I was mad about. No, what I was mad about. So, but you know what? I just gotta drop like 20 pounds and I'll be okay. Which I'm working on.
Oh, that's not
which I'm
good. What
which
happened?
which I'm working on
I have
right now.
100% faith you're gonna do it.
Yeah. So this is what happened. I was at Scary Farm and I saw a hoodie that I liked, right? It was just black and it had like gray writing. It said, not Scary Farm. So I was like, oh, cool, I'm gonna get that. And I looked for the 3X. So I was like, all right, cool, like, it's fine. And then I brought it home and I put it on and it was really tight. Like it like I had to like squeeze. I was like, what the heck? And I looked, I was like, yeah, this is 3X. And I was just I don't know, I felt like chunky in it. So I was like, I showed it to Robin and she's just like, yeah, it's kind of tight, but she's like, if you lose like 20 pounds, you should be all right. And I was like, all right, so that's my goal. It's gonna be like a more of a fitted kind of look, but I was like, I gotta lose like 40 pounds anyway. But
I think it's you bring that up, it's hilarious because like Hayes got a new sweater from my dad this Christmas, and
Okay.
it was a custom. It's all green, but then it has a quote on the front that says, "We all float down here." She
Okay.
loves it, and every time she puts it on, to me it's adorable, and I laugh about it, and I chuckle about it, and we both laugh about it. But every time she puts it on, she says the head hole is the tightest part of it. She goes, the jacket fits amazing. She
Yeah.
goes, it's just a pain in the ass to put on.
Yeah.
And it makes me laugh and just smile at it every single time, dude. Because I just like over here laughing, like just watching her
that's
trying to
funny.
get through it. But
Good times. Good times.
the ghost with the Christmas hat, what do you think that is?
Dude, I have no idea, man. Like
The
I'm
first
trying
thought just goes to Ghostbusters.
I'm not thinking Ghostbusters because we just had that. So I'm thinking more like some kind of like actual spirit. Like I don't know if I'm thinking movie, but maybe like a like a because where's this maze at, or where's this
This will
house
be
at?
I believe, at the Walking Dead venue.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking like maybe some kind of like like House on Haunted Hill came to like something like I was thinking of something along those lines where like an actual like spirit haunting like a house.
How cool would it be if it was Paranormal Activity?
Dude, I don't know how
That
to do it.
it could
I don't-
work. It could work.
Could work. It could
Because
work, but-
like there is more to Paranormal Activity. Obviously, the ghosts play a huge part in it. The demons, the entities, whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
But I'm talking about like the scenes of like the people standing up that are possessed in the film. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
And,
like when you watch like the first one's very very small, but once you start getting into like the second, third, and then I think it's like is it Ghost Dimensions or the fourth one? Oh, the marked ones.
yeah,
Like once you start getting into those,
kind of.
you start to add more things, and so I think if they did like a collab of them, that would be really
like
cool.
the Paranormal
Like
Activity universe.
yeah, that would be really cool. But I don't know. When I saw the ghost, that Ghostbusters is something that did pop in my head. But I was like, nah, they just did it. So I was just thinking more like a haunted, like spirit in a house kind of thing.
Aaron says after the third movie, it falls off pretty hard. In my opinion, I have to agree with that statement.
I agree. I haven't seen. I think it's like there's Paranormal
There's
Activity.
the one Paramount Plus did one. It was like Jin
Yeah.
or something like that.
Something like that. I was gonna say Kin, but I think
Kin,
it was
a
like
Jin or Kin. I think it might.
Yeah,
It might
yeah.
be, but it's supposed to be based off obviously the. I think it's a Jin, like the. I know in India they're huge, but that's like a demonic creature, like a Jin.
okay.
So yeah, I think they went based off that lore.
Yeah.
It's Kin. Okay, it's Kin blows. So
It
it wasn't.
is, okay.
Aaron said Kid wasn't good.
Okay. Well, I think definitely right. After the third one, I think it is like marked ones and then like dimension something or whatever. But
It was so cool to see those two actors from the first movie at Midsummer Scream this past year.
it was cool, and I was you know what, dude? Like, I was being a cheap ass too. I was just like, I wanted to meet them, but I was just like, I don't want to pay that much money.
Yeah, like I don't get me wrong, the movie's great, and I think it was ahead of its time for found footage. I think it really brought back found footage horror in a big time, big spotlight. But in my opinion, yeah, Micah and Katie were both at Midsummer Scream this past year, Aaron.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I just don't think that. I don't think I would pay money to get an autograph for them because I don't really, not only do I not know them from anything else, but that's the only thing I know them from. And I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of the franchise. I think they're good movies, but just not crazy about them.
See, I would pay money to meet them, but not as much as they were asking. And I understand, I get like, you know, they got to make money. Midsummer has to make money. I understand all that stuff. So I'm not going to gripe about the price, but I was just like, I had even said to myself, cause I think it was like $60, like just to meet one of them and get like to take just to take a photo.
Yeah.
Not like an autograph or anything. It was just like $60 to meet them. You get a photo with them, one of them, not both of them. It was more to do both. So I was just like, I don't feel like dropping like, you know, $120 to just take a picture with them. Although I respect them as actors and what they did. And for me, it was more so like the first Paranormal Activity movie was more, I thought it was scary. I did like it a lot, but for me, it was more of a like the process of how they got that movie to the theater, like you know, promoting it, and it costing like $15,000 to make, and then them just like making like 60 grand like when they finally got to like the theaters, and just the whole story. It was, for me, it was the story behind.
What about
the
like the
movie
fucking
itself.
every theater had like a different ending too? I thought that was really cool. A great marketing strategy to try to go to different theaters to watch it, to get more money on the movie. Like, to me, you don't see the creativeness, and that, you said that was a super low budget movie. They just probably got some camcorders and went into a house and just filmed the goddamn thing. But you know, it's just, I think, like I said, it put found footage horror back on the map. You know, I don't think there had been as good of a found footage horror film since Blair Witch Project, in my opinion. You know, and that was the kickstart of the found footage genre. You know, you look at all these movies that have tried over the years, and then Paranormal Activity comes around, and this was literally, I remember the marketing for this thing. Like, they were showing audience test screenings of people getting scared, and, you know, like, just the marketing was and then the multiple endings thing, that was insane. I remember just going insane on YouTube when the movie finally came out on DVD to, like, watch all the endings, because I was like, these endings are sick. And then there was, like, there was a canon ending, there was, like, you know, the other alternate endings and stuff. So it was interesting. I think the movie honestly was a little bit ahead of its time of the creativeness that they pulled off with it. And I think it doesn't get nearly as much appreciation as it should.
Yeah. And I know too, and this is why I think, like, I would love to see it, but this is why I think it wouldn't work at like a horror nights, is because there's no like real like villain that you can see. There's not a Michael Myers or a Jason like chasing you around. It's not, you know, I mean, it's the entity or the demon like dragging them around and throwing stuff. But like, I would be fine walking through a house being like, oh man, that chandelier, or like that table flipped over. But you know, I mean, I know I specifically have a friend who was like, dude, that movie sucked. Like, there was nothing. It was like, oh, she's getting dragged away by nothing. And I'm just like, bro, it's a demon, bro. Like, you can't fight a demon. Like, you got to get some, like, you got to get like Latin and like these books from like the Dark Ages to like fight the demons, pretty much.
Go down to the Vatican, fucking
all
the way.
You got to get the Pope out there, man, to bless the house. And he's just like, no, it's stupid. And I'm like, all right, man, whatever. You know, but
it's real, but whatever.
Yeah. All right, whatever. You know, each his own.
Aaron says the Blair Witch Project was tight, but the direct sequel, in my opinion, was a lot better. And Paranormal was in its own realm. They're both good. Paranormal Maze belongs in a rated R, can touch guest kind of haunt. I agree, actually. That makes a little bit more sense. Yeah. I could see like a more extreme haunt picking that up. And I think I have to agree with him on that Blair Witch statement. I thought that movie they did back in, I don't remember when, but it was more recent, and it was just called Blair Witch.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, it was a little bit more better because obviously now the technology at that point had gone better.
They had the drones and like
cameras.
The drone shots were really cool. The little cams that like the side.
Yeah.
The side
so I'm pretty sure if they could have filmed the first one like that, they would have. You know, if they had
Yeah.
all that technology, but like now it's just like, but yeah,
Or-
the story was good too. Like in
Oh, yeah,
general,
for
the story
sure.
was good.
No, I completely agree. I think it is just Blair Witch. I can't remember what year it came out. It was like
2016, Aaron says.
okay, yeah. Because I remember they had another name for it. It was like super secret. Like they weren't letting anyone. It was just called like the Woods or something like that.
And then they
finally,
revealed
like,
it to Blair
they
Witch.
revealed it was a Blair. It was called Blair Witch. But yeah, definitely, I really enjoyed that movie. I liked the story. So those two, I'm not gonna talk about. There was actually a Blair Witch 2 that we do not talk about because it was so awful that. But those are the two movies: the Blair Witch.
It's just like
Blair Witch-
Halloween Kills and
yeah.
Halloween Ends. You know, we don't talk
Yeah,
about
we
them.
don't
You know,
talk
they
about
don't
them.
exist. Halloween 2018, yeah, we'll talk about all day.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Kills and Ends, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
Blair Witch 2 sucks, Aaron says.
Welcome back to the Nights of Horror Radio. You were listening to the Architects. That was Scene Red, great classic, instant classic. Thank you very much.
That was good. That was good. All right, so we kind of have our own little theories as to what the ghost can be. I'm thinking it's a Ghostbusters movie of some sort. You're thinking it could be House on Haunted Hill or something to do with the
along those lines.
paranormal or
An
ghost
actual
realm.
Ghost. Yeah.
We're gonna go up one,
Okay.
which looks terrifying when you look at it, but it's a circle with two lines going like that, like TV antennas on the top,
Okay.
and then around the circle it looks like different arms. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4,
okay.
5, 6, 7 arms.
So we are seeing different things. You and me are seeing different.
Are
things.
they not arms? They look
I
like
have no idea.
arms.
No. So this is. I thought when I first looked at it, I thought it looked like a piñata.
It actually, you know what? It probably is a piñata. I'm
Like okay, it's like I mean, you know how us
yeah, it's a
Mexicans do the-
piñata. Now I'm looking at it more.
Yeah. So
I'm
like,
over
the
here
gold-
good. Of like
Yeah.
TV antennas. It's got arms.
Well, no, and they're just too, and then too because of the I got moved my mic. I got excited. I moved my mic. And then too, just with like the set, the place that is, the Parisian, they do typically have like, dang it, I can't think of the word, like, lore houses there, which are typically from different nationalities, different cultures. So I was just thinking like maybe it's gonna be some kind of like maybe like a I don't know where the piñata came from or how that something having to do with that, like where that lore.
So, and it is in the Parisian courtyard. In the last couple of years, we have gotten some original mazes. We had the
Right.
return of La Llorona. They rebooted it, added some new
Yeah.
technology. It looked stunning again. That was
Loved
one
it.
maze where, as a return, I was not really mad about because he did say he was going to add a lot of new technology that they have
And he-
access
and
to
he did.
now,
And he
did, and it came out stunning. And it not only did it came out, it felt fresh, but it also was a great walk down memory lane because that was one of the first mazes I ever walked through going to Halloween Horror Nights in 2011, and it came back again in 2012. So to see it come back again in 2023, was it 20? I'm sorry, 2022. Sammy was excited because that's something Sammy's been wanting to go through for so long. I know you have been through, like me, a couple of iterations of this, and we
Yeah.
were excited to go back through it again
Oh,
just
yeah,
to
was
see
a
it again.
solid house.
Solid house, and they continue to have La Llorona walk around even last year in Halloween Horror Nights. Thank Christ, because I think the way they designed that character is so incredible.
I like that they're having her walk around the way they are. Like I know.
Yeah.
I've heard some people complain, but
I think it fits the area she's at, though.
yeah, because it's definitely like that kind of like, well, that Dia de los Muertos area, but then also it kind of fits into that. So
Yeah. I mean,
it's
it's a Mexican or Hispanic folktale, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it all fits in with the theming of what they're trying to do, especially last year when you had Monstruos 2. And you have that off top of, right there where all the beer's at, but like that kind of whole Dia de los Muertos, courtyard right there that they have set up. I think she works perfectly in that. But
I agree.
yeah, I think, going down the road of having this spot being the original and maybe being another Hispanic original again, maybe Monsteros 3. Monsteros is really popping right now, and I can see this being a franchise much like how they do the Universal Monster mazes. So
See, I would hope that we pick a monster. Like, I want one monster.
Outside of just multiple.
Yeah. Like, the previous Monsteros, houses that we've gotten, it's always been like, 3, and then last year was 3 as well. I would like, and I get like, we're getting like, different variety of monsters, but I would like one specific monster to focus on and be like, okay, this is the lore that you're telling us, the lore of this monster, even if he has to make it up or pull from several monsters and make up his own monster. I would like Murdy to tell us, like, this is the beginning, how it started as, maybe he was he or she, or it was a person, and then it gradually, this is how
You get the origin, you get the action, and then you get the ending.
Right.
I get you.
Something like that.
Yeah. You beginning, you can tell the origin story of how this creature became the creature, or monster, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
And then you go into the action portion of the middle, towards the end of the maze, of this creature causing chaos in a nearby village or town or whatever it may be. So like Origins of Sarah Marshall, Aaron said, yeah, exactly. Do like an origin telling of a monster of Latin America. I think Universal Hollywood in the past has been very good with the storytelling aspect with specifically the Universal Monster Mazes. If you guys actually, outside of, much like how we do critique the black walls and everything, if you pay attention to the story that is told within the postcards of the mazes that they have for the Universal Monsters mazes, it tells a full-on story. And for me, I love reading through all of that because, like, it gets me more immersed into the story. I know a lot of people didn't like Universal Monsters last year due to the lack of talent in it. I think, in my opinion, I would have loved to seen that story on film.
Oh,
because I think last year's story was so strong enough to be its own individual solo film that when I first saw that, I was like, holy shit, like, this could work in a film. Like, all these iterations of these mazes can work as a film.
I didn't like, and not because it wasn't good. The ending kind of hit me some kind of way.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that ending, but Hayes gave me hope. And I owe this one. This is 100% Hayes' theory right here. What if, because at the end we do see, the bride bring back the body of the granddaughter to the...
Is it Saskia?
Yeah, Van Helsing.
Yeah.
We do see her bring them back to the resting place. What if she does the same treatment on her that she did with the monster and gave her vampire blood? Because this new iteration of the bride, which in my opinion I am a huge fan of, I think they made the bride a badass. I think they made her a fucking warrior, and this is a bride that I would see very much happening after the events of those movies in real life, if we were to continue. And what they've done with this story and made this bride character is just kind of almost reminiscent to her original creator, which was Dr. Frankenstein, a mad scientist, and she goes through lengths in my opinion, the greatest maze thus far, The Bride of Frankenstein Lives. She goes through lengths to try to save Frankenstein monster's life, and she does at the end. And she goes through battles and whatnot just to get to what she needs. They go through a fucking hell of a fight in this maze against the Dracula brides and whatnot, and of course all the wolf women, I think it was. But I just think that there is room for a sequel and to bring that character back. I wasn't a big fan of how, you see the main Dracula bride at the end rip off her head and whatnot, but
it hurt me.
It did hurt me too, because I was really liking the character. I thought the character was brilliant. I thought, I honestly dug the character. I dug the characters in this maze. But like you said, I mean, there was so much room in there. There could have been more bigger sets. There could have been more extended rooms. Especially there's like one scene where you go into like a graveyard of forest. I feel like you could have made that a little bit bigger. Just to give more of that forest kind of, feel. But nonetheless, I love what they did with that story. And again, going back to Monsteros, it's just an origin. You tell that story and people get so sold in the stories that, they love reading them, learning about them, and even after going to the event, going home and researching them even more. So I think an individual Latin American folktale can work perfectly here. It has the last 3 years, and it continues to be a popular thing for that location right now. You know more than anybody, we've seen a lot of things come and go. I don't think there has been one maze that's been put there that has been terrible, in my opinion.
No.
Yeah, they always deliver, and if you really go through in the day and look at that location, it's not a big location.
No, it's not. And what they do, I mean, they do it every year, but every year I'm still amazed at how much they put in there, especially with like La Llorona when they put it there. It was just like this maze is going on forever. How like I know how big this spot is, like
Yeah,
but they do it.
they do it
And I'm grateful.
fantastically. Yeah, I am too. They do it super fantastic. Okay, rocking chair, rocking horse. What are we thinking? That's the mummy cue.
Yeah. I'm thinking some kind of like child's toy, like I mean, I'm not saying Chucky, like his own house, but something along those lines, like
Okay, you think child's toys, you think of horror movies, you think of little girls in horror movies as far as like, the typical little girl getting hunted by a demon or a ghost
or even like a, I know it's not like there's nothing about this image that will lean to it, but like an Annabelle or just because it reminds me like of a little kid, and like Annabelle was a child's toy. So I mean, obviously they're not gonna put a doll there, that would be kind of spot on, but I don't know. I'm thinking something having to do with horror movies and children, Pet Cemetery, Annabelle, like
Children of the
along those
Corn.
Children of the Corn.
Could
Stuff
be
like
a
that.
lot of different ideas at this point.
Yeah. So I'm thinking something along that lines, because it's not just a horse, it's a rocking horse. Kids are on, I had one of those. Kids are on rocking horses. Something having to do with kids. And
The one notable thing that I know a lot of fans want to come to Halloween Horror Nights as a house, and that comes to mind when I think about a horror movie with kids involved, is Megan. And you think about toys, and Megan essentially was supposed to be an AI toy for this little girl. And we know that they're working on a sequel that's supposed to be coming out later this year.
Yeah.
And not only that, the first movie had such instant popularity with a lot of pop culture these days, especially her dancing and whatnot. I think that, and Aaron says it perfect right here, Megan Unrated is what Child's Play reboot should have been.
Okay.
We don't talk about that movie, but I think that this character is so famous with pop culture today, whether you're a horror fan or not. This character, and they've been testing the waters a little bit the last 2 years with Megan, as far as the Blumhouse show that they had that one year. She had a role in that. She was on the Terror Tram this year. She had her own little section, and she opened the Terror Tram with all the other Blumhouse characters. So we've been seeing sprinkles there. It's only a matter of time before they give her own maze, and I feel like they may be waiting for that second movie so they can have more content to put in that maze.
Okay.
So that's the obvious choice, and I know a lot of fans want that to come. Me personally, I wasn't the biggest fan of Megan. I appreciated it for what it was, and the whole AI, conspiracy and the concept of AI taking over and all that is terrifying. But I just, again, if you've seen Chucky, you've seen Megan, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, I liked Megan. I thought it was cool, but again, it should have been rated R. Like they needed to push.
Well, and that's what a lot of people say. The Megan unrated cut is way better than the Megan theatrical cut.
Okay, I've never seen them.
I don't think I've seen the unrated cut either.
I haven't seen that either.
I own the theatrical cut. I should have bought the unrated cut. So I'm definitely gonna check that out. He said it's.
Okay.
Aaron says it's like the Snyder cut for Megan.
Ooh. Okay.
So I imagine it being unrated, you're probably gonna get more violence, more gore that they couldn't. Because that, if you guys pay attention, that movie was rated PG-13.
Yeah.
And with I think you need to push the R rating for Megan for the sequel, in my opinion.
I mean,
but I get it. I get it why they put it PG-13, because you get more of an audience to come and
you get more of an
watch
audience
it.
if it's PG-13, and they're just not showing blood, pretty much.
Whatever. We'll we'll wait and see. Yeah, it's exactly what you think it is, unrated, and it is more violent. Cool. I gotta check it out then. I gotta find it.
Check that out then.
I will be definitely putting that on my list to try to find it. I don't know. Is it on any streaming service right now?
Last I saw, I don't know how long. I mean, it's been a while since I saw it, but like, it was Peacock.
Yeah, that makes sense because I think Universal did it. Blumhouse produced it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's right now. We're looking at Megan for that one.
Okay.
Let's go to T-Pad, which is the area where Texas Chainsaw Massacre was last year.
Okay.
And we got Santa Claus hiding behind a Christmas tree, and the only obvious answer to that is Terrifier 3, which a lot of people have been speculating as well. Terrifier has now become a household name in the horror genre. Art the Clown has become a household name in the horror genre. Very famous character. I think that character... No, you are not interrupting, Aaron. I love reading comments. I love when people chat with us, and I love reading them out loud, so keep it coming.
Yes.
However, Terrifier 3 is dog shit. Oh, wow. I have not seen it yet. And I didn't like Terrifier 2 because of like the whole little girl aspect of it. I thought that was weird and didn't really resonate or make sense to me as far as the story goes. But let's be honest, Terrifier doesn't really have a story. It's just a clown killing people.
Yeah.
Terrifier 2 is better than 3. Okay, well, I mean, I hated 2, so I love 1. The first one, the original to me was... I remember I watched that during the pandemic because I'd never seen that, heard so much hype about this movie, and I was like, gotta watch it. Yeah, 1 is perfect.
I didn't watch 3. I'm just not... I watched the first one because, you know, just the... Not so much the hype, but more like the buzz around it, you know, people talking about it, and it was good. It's not my cup of tea. So,
it's a gore horror.
Yeah,
it's like Saw.
Yeah, see, but this is the difference. Saw's definitely gory, but there's
a story.
There's a story behind it. There's like traps. There's
a meaning to why he's doing what he's doing.
And then the people there are like, they have to use their brains to get out, and
right.
You know, they have to. You know, it's just
where Arch just has a trash bag full of weapons and he's just killing people.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, people love it. I'm all for it. You like it? Do you, boo? Do you? It's not for me though. I watched the first one. I watched the second one, and I just was not, you know, rushing out to watch the third one.
So here's Aaron's spoiler-free take on the third film.
Okay, go.
He felt like they wrote the script overnight. The violence is perfect. Art scenes are always good, but the story is so like, what the fuck is this?
Okay.
And that's kind of how I felt with 2.
Okay. So
that's how
probably feel it even more with 3 then.
Oh, if they, and I'm assuming they bring back that little girl that's in Art. See, and that's what confused me with 2. There's a scene, and eventually she ends up in the rest of the movie. There's a scene eventually where he's in a laundromat and he just sees this little girl, right? And she is dressed like a clown and everything. And I don't understand that. Is this him going crazy? And then he's on, because she's not real. Like, no one else can see her but him. And it's all in his head. Yeah, it's all in his head. And so, like, it just didn't, like, I didn't get it. Like, is it supposed to be his daughter? Like, is it supposed, like, I think that's what makes Art such a great killer, because he's much like the Joker, where you don't know his backstory. You don't really even know if Art is his real name.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's just this, and we found out after the first Terrifier, he's just this clown who kills people and happens to be immortal. So is he a demon? I hope one day, I know he wants to make a few more movies. I hope one day he gets into detail of the backstory of Art the Clown eventually. I know sometimes I ask for a little too much when it comes to movies. Sometimes these movies just don't even need that, and they can just be what they are. But me being the movie guy that I am, I always want a backstory as to, okay, who is this character? Why does this character do the things that he does? How did he become immortal? Like, what power does he have? Like, these are questions I need answered before they end this franchise. I'm just saying, before they consider hiring David Howard Thornton as the Joker in James Gunn's DC, I need to figure out why it is Art the way he is.
What? Next time he goes to Halloween Depot, I'll talk to him.
If he goes back to Halloween Depot, I mean, he's becoming pretty big now.
Yeah.
I think we got him at a time where Terrifier 2 was just in production, or just got out of production, or just finished, or whatever. and it came out in 21, I believe it came out. So
Yeah.
that was around the time he was doing maybe a little provide advertisement, and I think that's why he was there. All right. So yeah, Terrifier to me is the only, and that's been a huge speculation. A lot of fans have been wanting it. I myself think it would make a great maze. What do you think?
I mean, Santa. I'm. The only thing I could think of is because I'm taking away the Christmas stuff. Like I'm not really looking at the Christmas stuff aspect of it because they all have like. So I'm just looking at like I don't know. Is he like holding popcorn or?
Looks like he's holding popcorn. Santa
So
Claus hiding behind a tree holding popcorn.
This is what that's what it looked like to me, to popcorn. So this is what I'm thinking, and I'm shooting a long shot here.
Shoot it. I love to hear it.
It is because
Watch you be right about it.
I hope so. It's because the opening scenes of this movie involve popcorn. And I don't know why I went to Scream.
This is a property, and I bet you Aaron can 1,000% agree with this because Scream is one of his favorite horror movies franchises of all time. Scream has only been at the event one time, and that was for a Terror Tram in 2011. First year I ever went. I'm glad I got to experience the Scream for Your Life Terror Tram. That was when Scream 4 just dropped. It was a lot of hype over it. It was the first Scream movie in a long time, I think. So it was a big deal when this movie came out. And then when they did the Terror Tram, they had the whole story of them filming the latest Stab movie in the back lot, and then a Ghostface killer coming out and ruining that. Yeah. So it was an amazing story. If you guys ever get a chance, go on YouTube and look up that Terror Tram. It was 2011's Halloween Horror Nights Terror Tram. Incredible. I myself actually got to witness it with my own eyes, and the amount of Ghostface they had everywhere was awesome to see. There's enough content with 6 movies now, going on 7, which we will get into hopefully a little bit later, but 7 just started production. There is more than enough content to do an entire Scream maze with the entire Scream franchise. Yeah. Of some of the best iconic kills.
I mean, maybe I love Scream. It's my favorite scary movie. I can watch it anytime. It's not even I don't need a reason. I'll throw that on.
Your lady's in there.
Yeah,
Nev. I remember taking a picture at Monster Palooza and you're like, wow.
Something. I know she's going to watch this. Nev, I'm married, but you know what? We can be friends. We can be friends.
That's your one hall passing, you know it.
Yeah, that's my hall pass right there. But yeah, that's what I went to. But I don't unlike you, I don't want to see all the.
I was just thinking like a compilation of like some of the best kills.
Just give me the first Scream.
I'm fine with that too. I really am. In my opinion, that's the best one out of the entire franchise. Number 1, and number 2. And I know this is quite a controversial take on it, and I know Aaron will probably argue me on this though, but I just think the formula for Scream is the same in every single fucking movie, and there's not really anything new that you can do or bring to the table that changes that. And I know there's a lot of people that say, Scream 6 did change that formula a lot with using guns, with being in New York, with just changing the formula. And they flat out tell you that in the film of how the formula is being changed, of how a horror movie should be.
Well, but I think that's what makes Scream different, is because they are almost not breaking the fourth wall, but kind of are by explaining this is what's they really are talking to the audience when they're in their group talking to each other. Yeah, they really are. And this has happened throughout the Scream franchise, whether it's was it Randy, Jamie Kennedy's character,
Randy,
when he's explaining in the first
tropes.
one. Yeah, the tropes in the first one when they're watching Halloween. And the second one, they do the same thing. And the third one, they throughout the entire franchise, there's always a scene where they're explaining. Even I think in the third one, Randy has the video, because if you haven't seen the movie, spoilers, he dies in the second one. So he made a video. He has the video in the third one where he's like, if you're watching this video, I didn't make it. So that's something but that's Scream's always done that, where they've let the audience in on like, hey, like this is what's happening. This is you're not supposed to do this.
Aaron said
You're
it
not
before
supposed to do-"
me. This is the formula for every Scream movie. It's always a murder. It's always let's replicate the kills.
Yeah.
Let's always it's always some dog shit motive. Oh, you killed my son who was a serial killer. I'm going to kill you. Like it literally that is the formula. Scream 3 is probably the only one that does not fit the formula, says Aaron. And Aaron is a Scream expert. I know he's got a very screen accurate costume.
Nice.
So if you ever see him around at conventions as Ghostface, I would suggest taking a picture with him because it's a very good screen accurate. He was at Midsummer. He dressed up as Midsummer this year as Ghostface.
Nice.
And it came out really good. The cloak looks amazing that he wears.
What did his cloak look like?
It looked kind of like the one that's a little like. It kind of looks a little shiny, just tad bit, if it makes sense.
I feel like I took a picture of him.
You might have. I think you were
feel
next to
like-
me when I was talking to him.
I feel like I took a picture of him. I could be wrong though.
Sparkle
but-
robe, yeah, it's the sparkle
yeah,
robe, and he's got the screen accurate mask. He's got the screen accurate replica knife.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Um,
Yeah, he had a sick costume. His
Yeah.
costume's really sick.
Yeah, he has that. Again, he's a diehard Scream fan.
Nice.
How do you feel? Real quick pivot. How do you feel with Scream 7? I think the only thing in my opinion that can save that movie, and this is a longtime fan theory that people want to see, is if Matthew Lillard returned to the franchise.
I'd be okay with it.
There's a way you can work around that, for my
Yeah,
my
because
opinion.
we don't really. I don't remember seeing. I mean, I think we do see him die, but
He said it himself. I can go smash the TV on my face right now, and I'd still be okay.
yeah.
I'm like, but then again, the TVs are way thinner these days.
Yeah, we only saw what's his name? Skeet Ulrich, Billy.
Yes, he has made a return in what's her name's head,
Yeah, as because that's her
because they confirmed
dad.
he's dead.
Well, that's
We
her
watch
dad,
him,
right?
Yeah, that's her
Yeah,
dad.
Yeah, we saw him die, but so I know he's made a return. I don't see why Matthew Lillard couldn't make a return. They would have to do it right, and I'm not being uppity about like, oh, it's a Scream movie, like you gotta do it, but if makes some sense to me. Like I'd be okay if like he never actually died, he went in the hospital and he's been in jail, and finally they finally like let him out because whatever mentally they were like, oh, you couldn't, whatever the storyline is, maybe like it did work, like the process of like where the movies made me do it, and maybe that argument worked and they sent him to like a psych ward or something, and now his time's up and he can come back and they've deemed him fit to return to society. Like I'd be like something along those lines. I wanted some kind of story to go with it.
Yeah, I think in my opinion, my two favorites so far out of the Scream franchise, honestly, is the first one is always going to be, I not only does the first one good because it's good, but I mean, I'm a huge Wes Craven fan.
Okay,
And you take a guy who took a movie in the 80s like Nightmare on Elm Street and made Freddy Krueger a household fucking name, right? And as that franchise is still fucking bleeding out, in the fucking 90s come around and fucking he launches a brand new slasher that fucking shocks audiences, that fucking blows audiences away, that returns people back to the slasher genre again. And that was Scream. And Scream, in my opinion, did such a good job of, like you said, they know they're talking to the audience. They know who's coming to see this movie, and they know who they're catering to. So they write this script. Essentially, you're talking to someone else in the movie, but essentially that character that is, Randy's would be Randy's niece and nephew. When they're all talking about all these tropes and everything, they're talking to us. They're not talking to the characters. Like, even though in the movie it may look like that, they're really talking to us.
Yeah.
And the fun part about every Scream movie is to figure out who's going to be the killer. I felt like in the last movie, it was very obvious. At a certain point, you just kind of knew who the killers were.
Yeah.
I will be honest. I knew about. I had a strong suspicion about the cop dad. Spoilers alert, by the way. I mean, Scream 6 has been out for a minute now, so if you haven't seen it yet, I mean, that's kind of on you. But 6, I think, was, and Aaron says it good. The vibe of 6 was so good, but the ending was weak. I thought the museum, however, in that film of all the Ghostface memorabilia from over the years, like, why hasn't anyone opened that in real life as a museum? Because you know how many fans would go? I'd go fucking film a video for that. Like, that would be amazing just to see all those props and all those different things. And you could tell they literally pulled from all their archives of props and just put shit in there. And I think that's so cool. But yeah, I think much like myself, and I know you do, I know Aaron does, and I know that a lot of people do want to see Scream come to Halloween Horror Nights. And I know it's been such a big issue on rights to try to get it to come to Halloween Horror Nights.
That's the crappy part, is the rights.
So I'm hoping eventually we can get something going. We'll see how 7 turns out. There's a lot. Nev is coming back to reprise the role. I hope to God they finally kill her ass off.
Yeah, I think it's
time.
I mean, they got Officer Dewey.
I don't agree with that death. I think it's bullshit.
You know what?
I think it's stupid. I think.
You know what? I don't agree with who killed him.
I don't.
And
it doesn't fucking make sense. I have argued
I don't agree
this.
with who they kill. I don't agree with who they let kill him.
Aaron and I have had
and how they killed him.
It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. It for me. When I found out who the person it was that killed him, I looked at the size of who she was, right?
Yeah.
And you look at this ghost face and that sequence specifically in the hospital, right? And you're looking at a ghost face that's probably around David Arquette's height or a little bit taller,
Yeah.
I understand boots can help with that, but as small as she is, I don't buy it. I don't buy that she fucking had the strength to lift this motherfucker up a little bit and kill him. I don't buy it. Unless she's on steroids, I don't buy it.
Could have been. Maybe she's really leg strong. Maybe she was squatting down a little bit and lifted with her
Listen,
legs.
this is the same girl who caught on fire in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And then she caught on fire again. They just love setting this girl on fire. Like, any chance they can write her in the script if there's a way they can make her get on fire, they're going to write it in the script.
Yeah, but that was a tough one.
Aaron said PCP. PCP also could have helped.
That's also that good call. Good call.
Cocaine.
I mean, they're killing people, so who
adrenaline.
knows what kind of drugs they're on.
It's true.
But yeah, I think this next one, Nev's got to go.
I thought we were gonna lose Courtney for sure in the last one, and he didn't die. She didn't die. She should have died.
Here's the thing too: is like I feel like. Before the controversy with the movie and people leaving and going and whatever the case may be, I feel like they had a good, like, these are our actors and actresses to carry us for the next several movies. I don't know if they feel as confident, so I don't know if they would kill Nev off because she is like the franchise and why people, I mean, like, everyone loved. I know Janet Ortega, but the other girl, it's like
Oh, I know who you're talking about. She was in that Abigail.
Yeah. I can't think.
I don't remember her name, but I remember the controversy as to why they let her go and stuff.
Yeah. So I feel like before that they were like kind of these are our people.
Melissa Barrera is what Aaron said.
Yeah, they go Melissa Barrera. These are, Janet Ortega and Melissa Barrera. They're gonna carry us to the next, like how
the new generation.
Yeah, the new generation. How Nev and
right.
Courtney and David Arquette were.
Yeah,
these are the people. But then that happened, so now they're bringing back the old school because that's what we want to see. Like, I want to see Nev and if Courtney comes back. That'd be cool, but
it's just been. I think with this new trilogy they've done so far, it started off really strong. It did. I think Scream 5 was a great return to the franchise, and
I agree.
So much nostalgia going back to the original house. Like all that stuff.
Well,
as a fan, I just loved it.
It had been so many years.
Yeah, and to see some characters return all these years later, like. As a fan, you just loved Scream 5 because it was just a return to the franchise and a return to what it was, and then you get Scream 6 and, Scream 6, it had its good moments. It was great to see, Aaron brings up Kirby. Kirby comes back in Scream 6. I thought she was a great character in Scream 4.
Dude, I loved Kirby.
Yeah.
In Scream 4. Dude, she was so awesome. I loved her character.
Yeah, and to see how much she's grown up since then. You know, she was in high school when we saw her in Scream 4. Now she's a fucking detective.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like to see how much that experience traumatized her to become a detective.
Yeah.
You know, it's just incredible to see where the family of Scream, the Scream family have, you know, we've grown with them, you know, and to see that. So it is, I think they really, and Aaron said it best, Spyglass really fucked up with getting rid of Ortega and Barrera, but I think that, you know, it kind of, when Scream 6 got released, you know, it ended good, and then, you know, all that controversy happened where, you know, Barrera wanted to speak her opinion, and she had every right to, and they let her go because of her opinion. And then Jenna Ortega never really officially came out and said she left because of her, but she said it was more because of a scheduling conflict. We know how much she's blown up over the last couple of years as well.
Right.
So I think that, you know, they kind of were in trouble when it came to doing the script for 7, and I think that I hope it's a good movie. I hope it's not just a cash grab. You know, it seems like with all the people they're bringing back, that's kind of what it's leaning towards right now. And it's just, you know, I'm a little nervous for Scream 7, but I'm still going to go see it. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm nervous for it too, but I'm going to go watch it. I'm hoping, this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that, you know.
Let's go. Aaron said, "Look, go see 7 with me. Let's make a date.
Yeah, let's go.
Whenever it comes out, I know it just started production like this week, but when it comes out,
we'll go.
We are gonna make a group. Me, Hayes, Rob. You got to put in the calendar now. Robin's got to sign off on it. Got to make sure we have you available for the vacation day.
I have to put it in. I got to wait for her to approve it.
Approve the vacation day, and then we can go to go. You know, from the time of 7 o'clock to about 10 o'clock, I will be out. But yeah, I think that sounds fun. I think we should go see Scream 7 when it comes out.
This is what I want to happen. I want for the next Scream movie, I would like them who's in charge? Like what movie studios?
Spyglass.
Spyglass. I would like Spyglass
and Paramount.
I would like both of them, anyone in charge, the producers, all of them, to be like, hey, let's just, you know, let bygones be bygones, and we're gonna kill off Nev in this movie in Scream 7, but we're going to bring back
Barrera.
Yeah, and Jenna Ortega. We're gonna bring them both.
Finish
back.
that storyline.
Yes, and then they can do 8, and however you want to go from there. Wait another 20 years for us to get more movies.
Aaron just said the most fucking best plot twist that could save Scream 7, in my opinion.
What is it?
Melissa Barrera is the killer.
Dude.
It's in her blood already.
That's awesome.
It's in her blood.
That's awesome. Sign me up. Sign me up. Dude, that's crazy.
He says she was, with the way she was acting in the last couple films, it was kind of leading to that. And you kind of saw that at the end of 6, especially with, you know, her kind of putting on the costume and her using the knife to kill somebody and her kind of embracing that dark side of when she killed that you know, the killers and stuff. I was like, oh, something came out that I don't think it should have came out, but it did. And it kind of it planted that seed of like, oh. And he made another good point, make Jenna Ortega the actual final girl. And I feel like that's the route you go because of how big she is today.
Yeah. You
know, she is, I would say, on the scale of what Nev Campbell was when that first movie came out. Going into 2 and 3, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I honestly think she's
exceeded that.
Yeah, she's bigger than what Nev was when Scream came out. Because I think Nev Campbell was really only I want to say Party of 5 maybe, and I think she had The Craft, so she wasn't like a
household. I think this was the movie that.
Yeah, Scream is what
made her
over. We're Jenna Ortega. I mean, everyone, you know, Wednesday, and I mean.
Well, Scream, if you think about it, I mean, she's a child actress, but I feel like Scream 5 really is what set her off on a collision course going towards what her career is today.
Yeah.
Because she is now, sadly though, because of that role, I feel like she's going to be stereotype cast in just every horror movie possible.
Because of Scream?
Yeah. And you've been kind of seeing it so far. Beetlejuice, she was the same character. Wednesday, she obviously with Wednesday. She's done a couple critically acclaimed movies with some other well-known actors and stuff, which were really good. But Jenna Ortega was also an X.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But again, stereotyped and as the girl in the horror film.
I feel like that's only for right now, though. I think she probably had all these, like these contracts are these thing I'm trying to think of the word. She probably had all this stuff lined up already that she agreed to do beforehand, and she's just committing to what her commitments. She's fulfilling her commitments.
Well,
and then eventually she'll probably branch out into other stuff.
Well, Aaron just said that she actually loves horror, so I don't think she cares about being typecast.
Okay.
But I mean, she's making a ton of money doing it, so let her.
She's good. It's not like she sucks. She's really good at what she does.
Indeed.
So, yeah.
Indeed. All right. Incredible episode that we've had thus far. And if you've managed to stay with us this long, we appreciate it, Aaron. We know you're out there, or you're chatting with us. I just texted Aaron. We're going to actually get him on the next episode of Nights of Horror Radio so we can talk with him over.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we're going to talk to him. He's got a lot of great takes on horror and a lot of great knowledge about certain horror franchise and horror in general. So we're going to bring him on next episode and talk some horror, maybe talk some haunt and whatnot. So stay tuned. I don't know when that episode will drop next week. I kind of have a pretty semi-busy week. So
busy man.
I am. We are recording a lot. I recorded 2 podcasts within this week so far. Monday and yesterday I recorded some podcasts, and today we're doing Nights of Horror Radio, and I think Thursday and Friday I'm gonna kind of just focus more on editing, but I think I'm done shooting content for this week. But Mindless Horror Podcast just dropped today too as well. We're doing our Carnival Takeover month. It has been incredible to see the engagement, the response, and just overall the support for all these incredible scare actors and monsters of Carnival. So that's been fun. We just dropped our new one today with Nate, aka Toe Jam. If you guys know him best as the clown in Carnival who was on roller skates. And my favorite part about what we've been doing this month is everyone we've interviewed so far has been a brand new guest to the podcast. And also, according to Aaron, the youngest monster in the park last year.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, he started at 17, already graduated, and he turned 18 in the middle of the season. And first rookie year, he got on Carnival. And we talk all about that. We talk all about what it was like getting there, what it was like being on the streets of Carnival, and some of his just his influences and everything. He's a very talented kid, 100%, Aaron. And we got to talk with him. We got to talk with Nicole. We got to talk with Audrey, all characters that we've never talked to. Obviously, Audrey and Nate were new this year, but Nicole has been doing it for some time. And, they've been incredible guests, incredible podcast. And, it's great throughout the week. I've been putting up TikToks, even though TikTok is going to be leaving as of next week, supposedly. So that's a bummer, but
who knows?
Just as I figured out TikTok and how I figured out how to expand my brand, and it disappears from me, I was a little late on that. But nonetheless, it's okay. We'll figure out another way to keep reels going so you guys can see clips, and hopefully it drives you guys to want to watch the full episode. But next week, I am filming an episode for next week's episode, and then all the podcasts for Carnival Month will be filmed. I've actually already dove in and started filming my next themed month for February. The first episode is already filmed, ready to, and I just got to edit it, and it's ready to go. But we will be announcing that really soon.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Have you announced it yet?
We will be.
Okay.
So we will be announcing it next week on the podcast. Right after the podcast this podcast is gonna have a post-credit scene, and the inspiration behind that post-credit scene is from the very first post-credit scene, and that was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. We're gonna do something along that line, so stay tuned for the podcast next week on YouTube. Cool. And you'll even hear it in the audio version as well. But we're gonna be announcing our next themed month, and I'm very excited to announce my next themed month. I think a lot of people are going to love it. I think a lot of people are gonna tune in every single week, and I know you'll be excited. I'll let you know after we're done off the air, but I am super excited to
Privileges.
announce it.
I get privileges.
He gets the early access on that. Actually, I think we did talk to Nicole about. She did bring you up. I don't know if you watched the episode or not, but she talks about how you're the character she's scared of the most in Ghost Town. We did talk on that. We actually talked about you for a little bit in there. So yeah, check it out, Aaron. It's up right now. That was last week's episode, and that was a solid episode.
Wait, okay. Well, I mean, I guess I was gonna say, can you ask Aaron? But I guess I'll just ask him, and you can tell me what he says. Just going back to Midsummer, was he hanging around, or did he was he around the guy with the hook, like from? I think he was supposed to be from. I know what you did last summer.
Unless he, Aaron, if you want to chime in on that, unless it was a photo op or I was not around anyone with a hook.
Oh, okay. Maybe it wasn't him.
There's probably another ghost face.
Yeah, there was a lot of them.
Imposter ghost face.
Yeah, that wasn't the real ghost face.
All right. What do you think of the fucking beard in this?
Okay,
so there's and this is H lot. This is right behind through, of course, the Harry Potter area, Curious George area. There is a picture of just a beard that looks like Santa Claus's. What? Who? What? Why? What is that?
That's what I'm saying. It's so spot on, like a Santa Claus beard.
I mean, it could be a number of things. It really can.
Could.
There's so many characters in the horror genre that have beards that are scary looking. It could be honestly anything. Throw out just one speculation.
Yeah, I'm the only thing. See, this is what I'm thinking. When I think of beards, I'm thinking of, and I could be wrong. I could be misremembering this. Did like the House of 1,000 Corpses? Did he have a beard?
No one had a beard.
No one had a beard. I don't know why I thought they had a beard. Yeah, man. I'm going like straight up like Krampus, because Santa Claus. So we haven't had
Krampus
had
would be
a
good
Krampus.
to come back again.
We haven't had a Krampus maze in a while. So, and it was really, we just watched the movie not too long ago.
Krampus live stream, that was fun.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. You're all right. There's like a lot of horror movies with beards, but it could just not like the beard. It could not even be a beard. It could just be like a pile of snow or you twist it upside down. Maybe it's someone's hair or something. I don't know. Like that's just it's a random.
It honestly,
photo.
the best way we can describe it to you guys, it looks like Santa Claus's beard, 100%. That's all we're given. I miss the days when we had like names and stuff, because like I could go and be like, okay, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you right now. I mean, I know as these things start coming out more and more throughout the year, we will be on this show and break it down. But for right now, I think I gotta go Krampus, and it wouldn't be a bad return. We haven't seen it since 2016. Yeah. So it's due for it'd be about almost 10 years now. So it's due. I would be okay with it coming back.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then like you had said before, like there's people who have not seen Krampus. And
it's a great movie.
Walkthroughs. Yeah. And I think it would be a good house to bring back if they're gonna bring back, another house. Yeah, I'm okay with Krampus.
All right, this last one.
Or wait, I just thought of this.
Okay.
Just thought of this.
Okay.
What about was it Deadly Night? Like a Deadly Night?
Silent Night, Deadly Night?
Yeah, there you go. Something like that.
Is
like
that
action.
Okay? Now, is that horror movie big enough to be at a Halloween Horror Nights though?
No.
Violent Night.
There you go.
With David Harbour. I think that one is a little bit more. But I'm thinking, have you heard of Silent Night, Deadly Night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that movie. I think it's got a cult following, but I don't think it has a big enough following to be at Horror Nights. I think that's a deep cut for horror films if you're a horror fan. Violent Night, however, is more mainstream, but it's not horror, in my opinion. It's action.
Well, we've had non-horror properties come to Horror Nights and do okay. So I mean, I don't.
Okay, give me some examples. And don't say This Is the End, because This Is the End was a horror comedy.
That's true. Good point. Okay, I mean, I would say
you can't think of one, can you? You can't think of one, can you? I knew you were gonna go straight to This Is the End. That's why.
Well, yeah. Well, no, but then also too, like, I mean, the technically, like, yes, like the music houses that we've had, like the Weeknd. The Weeknd's not horror. Yes, his videos, his music videos are very horror-esque, but his music is not. And
That's what I've been trying to argue this entire time.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I agree with you that the Weeknd's music, I listen to it. The Weeknd's music is not horror music. I would essentially say, like, was it Alice Cooper and
But Alice Cooper
Black-
was horror, and Black
yeah,
Sabbath
no,
was
that's what I'm
horror.
saying.
Yeah,
That is horror. That is horror. You can translate that very well to a horror amaze house. The Weeknd is not horror. Music videos wise, yes, horror esque, but music, if you're just going music, it's not. So I think they can do
Violent Night.
Night. I think they can do a Violent Night and pull it off. I mean,
I'm not saying you can't pull it off. I'm just saying, like, for me, I'm going into this maze now. I'm not thinking anything scary is gonna happen. I'm thinking more of action shit. I mean, it's a great, and that's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. Ever since we saw it last year, it is one of the Christmas movies we watch every year now. It's just a fun movie.
I just think see, because maybe I'm jaded as well. Like, I don't think like The Walking Dead was never horror to me. Like, because the zombie, like
What zombie genre is?
I
get what you're saying. Like, the overall show tone was a drama.
Yeah, and it was action because there were
It was an
fighting.
action drama. Yes.
And the zombie, and eventually, I think the first couple seasons, it was like, okay, zombies are very heavily, but then third season on, it was like,
but
it was the
then again, let's look at the marketing for The Walking Dead, not for Halloween Horror Nights. I'm just saying The Walking Dead in general. What was the overall marketing quote for that show? Fear the live or kill the dead, fear the living.
Right.
And they made it a point that in that show you saw the aspects of humanity pretty much changing throughout all the years of the apocalypse because they're adapting to what is now the new reality.
Right.
And I think the horrors of just that alone is
I was just looking at something.
Okay, I'm gonna argue this one here because I feel like this is my expertise and Rob's expertise, and we could both argue that it as bad as it was, it still is horror related. Undertaker No Mercy at Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando when they did it back in early 2000s, 90s, right?
Okay. Yeah.
He is saying that you can argue he's like a horror-esque character, but WWE is not horror in the slightest bit. And I agree with that statement. I do. Okay. However, it's not like the maze itself had the Macho Man Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know what I mean? Like, all these characters did not appear in that maze. It was specifically catered to The Undertaker, which his character is a horror-esque character. Yeah. Anything he did was horror-esque, even when he did American Badass, he still had some horror-esque elements into it. Do I think it was a great maze and a great choice to do a maze at Halloween Horror Nights? No. But, at that time, WWE was doing everything they can to get any sort of publicity, any sort of marketing, they had a restaurant in New York City. They had a maze at Halloween Horror Nights, they had all this stuff, and that's always just been WWE. Any way they can get any publicity, they're going to take it. Especially around that time, Vince was probably going through some fucking court cases. So any way he can get any traction off of him and on the brand of WWE, he would do it. But and it's funny you bring The Undertaker up because this is going to transition into what the speculation could be for our next speculation of H-Lot 12, and that is obviously we have here a little cabinet, and we have some toys in the cabinet, a rabbit, a dice, some blocks with the letters on them, and it looks like a doll. The biggie speculation based on those symbols has been the Wyatt Six. Yeah. Now, I think we all can agree when this story of the Wyatt Six first broke onto Monday Night Raw, their debut night, right?
Okay.
Such eerie symbolism from what we got of that debut night, of them coming in and basically saying, we're going to do whatever we want. We're going to destroy whoever we want. And I mean, it's like they have a purpose to what they're doing, but they made it a mission statement. Like, we are the Wyatt Six. This is who we are. This is what we do. And if you watched a lot of those promos leading up to their debut, the QR codes, you know, the cryptic messages, the found footage tapes, everything, you know, even to this day, you know, it's definitely very maze worthy in my opinion. Especially if you go into detail of who the characters are and how they came to be, and just the entire Wyatt storyline in general, from the inception at OVW to where it's at today.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that, I'm sorry, FCW. And it's something that it's just, I think, can work as a maze, especially with the way the characters look, what they do, how cryptic they look, and if you give it a story. In today's modern age, I think it can work. The problem I have with it, on the other side of creative, is you need to go, and Murdy's really good at doing research, but you need to know everything about the Wyatt storyline from, like I said, the inception of when it started. I'll even be nicer. You can go to NXT. From the inception of when it started at NXT to what it is now, if you want to cover everything of the Wyatts, or if you just want to focus on the Wyatt Six, I don't think there's enough content to just do a Wyatt Six thing. I think you got to do the entire Wyatt storyline as a maze overall. I think that works. Wyatt Six haven't had enough matches or enough storyline to give me something solid. Now, I know that's still, you know, almost a year away, and there's so much that can happen this year with the Wyatt Six storyline that creative over at HHN can be like, oh, we'll add this in the story, we'll add this. Or, you know, they got a rough draft of what they plan to do with them within the foreseeable future, and, you know, they got that. But I don't know. I'm kind of caught in the middle of this being a reality of, yes, as the wrestling fan of me, I think I would love this maze. I think it would be an incredible time. But part of me just goes, yeah, but can this work?
Okay. Well, let me answer. Let me chime in with I think it can work, and I think my mind kind of goes a bunch of places when you say the Wyatt Six, because I've seen the speculations about it, and you know, I the thing that stuck out to me is like, okay, well, the Wyatt Six, you got the, like, on the dice or the block, it's got six, you know, the little six, yeah. So that kind of sticks out to me. The bunny, I mean, we all know
The White Rabbit.
exactly. So you know,
The
and then,
doll
you know,
is
the
Sister
doll,
Abigail.
Sister
The
Abigail,
blocks, Firefly Funhouse.
right. So I'm looking at all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm right there with you. I think it could be the Wyatt Six. It could be completely off. It could be something completely different. But but I'm gonna go with the fact that I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I'm gonna feed into it being the Wyatt Six. And I like this. But let me tell you this. I don't know if it's popular enough to get people, your average HHN goer in. But when you're talking about lore, when you're talking about, you know, just the story of the Wyatts, I feel like there's a lot to go off of, you know. And I'm thinking in my head, room wise, like what you're gonna see in a room, like definitely the fun house, definitely the like I can only think, I will call it the barn, but like the house,
Oh, the Wyatt complex.
yeah. Was it the compound,
swamp,
yeah, like all that stuff, like a swampy area. Like there's so much to pull from, where maybe you don't
The Fiend, you know?
yeah, maybe you don't tell the full, like, hey, this is how Bray Wyatt was here, and this is their entire, like, lineage to here. Maybe you pick pieces of the story throughout, you know, because they've done a bunch of stuff with the Wyatts where you can pull, like, okay, well, we'll take the swamp, we'll take the fun house, we'll take maybe like a boiler room kind of area, something along those lines. And, you know, we can, you know, make it work with maybe not so much a story is always good to have in a house, because it kind of connects everything. But we've seen houses without, like, real stories, and just kind of like where you feel like they're just rooms.
Yeah.
And those sometimes those work too. I feel like for people who know the story of the Wyatts and the Wyatt Six, I feel like if you gave us, if I walked into a haunted house and I was in the Firefly Fun House, I would be like,
That's the facade for me.
okay, yeah, yeah.
I think that's
hear,
a great facade, in my
I
opinion.
like you're talking about just like the front of the house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be dope. That would be.
And
dope.
then
You
like
walk
maybe in the window you see like the doll, and you see, you know what I mean? You have
yeah,
all these
that
little
would be dope.
elements, you know, like
that would be dope.
it'd be
dope.
it'd be sick.
So I'm right with you now. If being is that we might be wrong, and it's not,
And there's probably a 90% chance that we are wrong.
possibly.
I'm leaving that 10% though.
This one leans to me, and just looking at it like a either one. I'm thinking this house is Megan, and
Okay.
two, this is a compilation house, and those toys are representing different movies that we're going to see.
Like a Horrors of Blumhouse.
Yeah, like a Horrors of Blumhouse kind of thing.
Okay.
So I fingers crossed for a Wyatt house.
Yeah, that's the
But-
ideal.
Yeah, that's the ideal. But looking at it, I'm thinking like, okay, maybe this is a compilation house where we're getting, maybe, what was it? Us was the bunnies, right? Was the bunnies
Yeah.
where they ate the bunnies? Like
Yeah.
maybe we get us, and I don't know, another some kind of doll movie that Blumhouse has done, because it's probably gonna be
Megan.
something related to Blumhouse. So Megan and the dice and they, I'm just thinking a compilation house right here. That was kind of the first thing that I thought of.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can go, and these, I think that's the fun part about the pictures is the fact that, this whole episode of this, what we've been doing is,
Yeah.
just kind of giving our own speculations. I do read a lot of things, in social media when these things drop. I follow a lot of people on different platforms that, have their theories and stuff. And there's a lot of things I like. There's a lot of things I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah.
But so far the biggest, I haven't even talked about, and I think I'll use that for the surprise gift ones. But I just this could be a number of things. It could be one thing. It could be multiple things with this last one. But I guess time will tell. Again, when another map gets updated later on and we get more of a less Christmas theme, I think we'll be a little bit more kind of understanding of what we're maybe speculating now. And I felt like, last year when we did this with a lot of properties, we were pretty spot on with a few, with, of course, the Cadillac logo being Ghostbusters and A Quiet Place. And, we did pretty good job, compared to what we got. So, all right, let's talk about these three present ones. We got a terror tram. We got two mazes in the lower lot. As far as the terror, so this is my idea, like what I think they can do with the terror tram, and this can even be a maze too. So this could be, I'm gonna fill this for two slots. This can either be a terror tram or this can either be a maze. And I'm gonna go with what Aaron said earlier, which was we got a movie coming out this weekend, The Wolfman.
Oh,
The Blumhouse Lee Winehouse Wolfman is coming out this week. Now, this is the third time they have reimagined this movie with the lore of the Wolfman. This is a more modernized version, much like how he did with The Invisible Man. He's doing his version of the Wolfman, a more modernized take on it. My opinion, I thought the best version of the Wolfman we've got, of course, the original is a classic, can't beat that. But the remake they did in 2010 with Anthony Hopkins and Benicio del Toro, I think such an underrated remake in my opinion. Number one, number two, the blend of CGI and practical effects they used on the werewolves for Benicio and Anthony was stunning. I mean, some of the facial features and the transformation scene in the middle of the courtroom, that's obviously CGI, but for the most part, they wore those costumes. I remember watching a whole behind-the-scenes thing about it. I thought that movie was so incredibly well done. You had a great ensemble cast. I think Emily Blunt's in that movie too.
Is she?
I think Aaron, you just rewatched it. Is she in that movie? She is. Okay, yeah, she's a young Emily Blunt is in that movie. I think she's Benicio del Toro's love interest in that film.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
the whole story of having Anthony Hopkins playing the dad, Benicio del Toro playing the son, coming back home. Then one night, the werewolf incident happens. He gets the mark of the beast. And now it's like, it's this build-up towards that end of father and son as the Wolfman. It's such an underrated movie. And, it's his brother's lover. Okay. And then it turned into his lover. So... and then that cliffhanger ending of having the detective have the mark of the beast, and it's just like that's how it ends, and I'm just like, we never got a fucking sequel, dude. Like, so I think I'm 50-50 about this new Wolfman movie. I'm excited to see what Lee Wynell does with this movie and how his story goes with this film. I'm a little scared because I've seen some stuff on what the Wolfman actually looks like, and I don't know if I'm a fan of it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I will be watching that movie.
I will too.
Today, obviously, but tonight I'll be watching that movie. So I'm excited to see it. I mean, I've seen trailers. It looks good. It looks suspenseful. So you're thinking
that could either be a maze or a terror tram.
A terror tram. Okay.
I think for me personally, if I had to choose, I would make it a terror tram.
Okay.
There's so much you can work with on the terror tram, prop wise, setting wise, that I think having a Wolfman there would be perfect. Just having the Wolfman and a bunch of victims running around. He's terrorizing the guests. He's terrorizing the victims. And you have the Bates Motel, War of the Worlds, Bates House. Yeah. Even that section from the Bates Motel going up to the Bates House, that little like grassy area right there, you can even have like a little scene there. It's like a forest scene or something. So I think that's what I want to go with. Wolfman for terror tram.
Okay. I mean, I like it because you could put a lot of them there. Mm-hmm. They could be jumping all over the place. I mean, it's really like their presence. Like, well, the only thing that in my mind I was thinking is like, okay, maybe these are like 100% movies. Like they know for a fact all these presents are gonna be movies, and so they're just not telling us what movies they're gonna be at. But I do like I do like the fact last year them changing up the terror tram to kind of the way like there were little show moments. I did like that, so I'm hoping that they keep something similar to that. As far as like a property to go there, I mean, it's the terror tram, so it's gonna be. I mean, I would like to see something original there, like
an original terror tram.
Yeah, like how we got Larry Larva,
Hollywood Harry.
Yeah, Hollywood Harry, something like that. Another original. But I mean, reality, chances are we'll probably get some kind of compilation of, like the Purge and stuff like that. Now, hopefully it's not the Purge, but you know what I'm saying. Like, hey, maybe they bring back The Walking Dead.
Is that still relevant?
I feel like they're making shows still.
They are. They're making spin-off shows. The main show is done. Fear is done.
The main show is done, and I know they're doing like
they're doing like the book of Daryl Dixon, or Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, and then the season 2 was like The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, the Book of Carol. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing these days, man? Just give it up. Just drop it.
They're keeping it alive, man.
Negan and Maggie have a show. I know Rick and Michonne finally got a show, and they finally explain what happened to him.
Yeah. So I mean, it's still alive. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be something along those lines. I don't foresee them doing anything too crazy with the terror tram.
Before we go get to those last 2 mazes, I want to give you a little reminder of what horror movies are looking like for 2025, so maybe it gives you some ideas to go based off of. And I'm just going to name a lot of the bigger ones. I'm not really going to go through all this list, but I'll be naming a lot of the bigger ones that could be a potential candidate for these 2 mazes. Black Phone 2 is coming out this year. Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride, which is supposed to be off The Bride of Frankenstein, and Christian Bale's playing Frankenstein's monster. That's coming out this year. That looks, that sounds good. The Monkey by Oz Perkins. That's his next film.
Looks good.
that is going to be coming out later this year. There's supposed to be a trailer, I think, dropping tomorrow for that. So keep an eye out. That's the Stephen King, James Wan, and Oz Perkins collaboration. So that's going to be three great minds of horror put together. Saw 11. Saw is no stranger to Halloween Horror Nights. And, I think Saw 10 was incredible. I think it was a great return to the franchise. And I think the story they did with that, and for them to pick up from 10 to 11, that's going to be fun. So The Conjuring Last Rites is going to be the last Conjuring movie. Now, we have had a lot of controversy with The Conjuring over the years, just to get that property solidified. We almost had it in 2017.
Yeah.
And then it got changed to Titans of Terror at the very last minute. But the house was there. It was all there. Like, you could see a lot of the elements that were supposed to be The Conjuring. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, that is also a property a lot of fans want to come to Halloween Horror Nights. I thought for sure they were going to debut it at Horror Unleashed in Las Vegas for the more permanent attraction. They did not announce that as one of the maze lineups for the first 4 mazes. So maybe Halloween Horror Nights, Orlando, and Hollywood. We'll see. The Wolfman, Megan 2.0. This one just got announced the other day. Hard Eyes, which is a Valentine's Day slasher film that looks actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Fear Street is getting another trilogy this year. Yeah, Hard Eyes is going to be good. I think it's the modern day My Bloody Valentine, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
But Fear Street is getting a new trilogy. You could always do, Netflix and Halloween Horror Nights are no stranger either. Stranger Things, Haunting a Hill House. You can do a Fear Street with the first trilogy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it could work for a good promotional. They're doing a spin-off movie within the Insidious universe called Thread. Don't know much about it. I don't know when it's going to start filming, if it already has been filmed. We shall see. Final Destination Bloodlines. Don't really think Final Destination can work, though, in my opinion. It's another unseen force. Because this movie's coming out, you could do one of two or both of these movies 28 days later.
Yeah.
It's
really, though. Hold on. I feel like Dead Exposure was the first 28 days. Or 28 days later. It
so
very much.
I'm going to tell you something right now, and you're probably going to be mad at me. I've never seen either of those movies.
You've never seen 28 Days?
So so we got something coming next Thursday on the channel, on Twitch. We're doing a new thing here on Twitch. If you guys have been keeping up on our socials, the Frightful Film Club.
Okay, yeah.
And our first movie next week is going to be, as voted by the fans. I threw out 4 movies that I had never seen, and I threw them out in a voting, and I said, what should be our first film that we watch as a group? It's going to be a one-time screen here on Twitch. And after that, I'm not going to upload it to my channel because obviously for copyright purposes, I'm just going to screen it one time on Twitch, and it might get deleted. It might get muted. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to try this. If this even works, I may have to repivot this idea afterwards. If it doesn't work out to what I want, but we are going to watch 28 Days Later. And then if it works out well, we're going to, the next time we go on for another Frightful Film Club on a Thursday, we're going to watch 28 Weeks Later. Because I do need to watch these films before 28 years later. I don't know why you just skip months. We just went straight to years. So, if you stream from Amazon, oh, fuck, that's going to be difficult. I don't know, though. I always see motherfuckers streaming Monday Night Raw every week on Twitch. I'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
WWE is very strict on that shit, too.
Also, I will say, I'm not going to say anything. Never mind. Go ahead.
I Know What You Did Last Summer is returning
with
a brand new movie. Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt are returning to the film, so that should be good. What else we got going on here? Let's see. The Strangers Chapter 2. We can always do a Strangers Maze. It's the content's there, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the content for Strangers Maze is there. I wasn't a fan of the movie. I hear you.
It's a 3-chapter thing, which I thought were all going to come out in the same year. What they were supposed to. Chapter 1 didn't hit as hard as I thought it was going to. But Chapter 1 also left it open with not wanting more. It just left a lot of questions unanswered.
You know what? I'll say this, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but for me, Chapter 1, I understand horror. I get it. I know there's certain tropes, there's certain things that happen, but I would like my characters to be not so stupid.
Well, okay, so and Aaron just made a good point right here. He said chapter 1 was only bad because of the shitty male actors acting. Now,
Yes.
for
Well,
me,
yeah,
the
yeah.
problem I had with chapter 1 was, going into this new reimagined, rebooted Strange. Okay, let's look back at the very first Strangers film, right? Sammy is terrified of that film. He says to this day that movie is the realism of that film and the fact that it was based on a true story. I think they tried to do a lot of shot for shot remakes in this new one from the first movie, but I just think that first one was so well told. The mystery of who these people are has been the whole highlight of these films. Is like, these motherfuckers are just 3 random strangers going around killing people because they just for the sole purpose because they're home.
Yeah.
Like, that's scary to think about that alone, right? You go into chapter 1 and this new trilogy that they want to do, right? And the whole point of this trilogy is we're supposed to get a background now of who the strangers are. Now, I don't know about you, but going into this movie in the beginning of the film, when they arrive into this town, everyone already is suspect. Everyone. The minute they walk into that diner.
They're all giving me vibes. Giving me vibes.
Yeah, there is something dark going on in this town.
I'm convinced that all of them are the killers. They're just trading off costumes.
Me too. I kind of had, because the way the movie was showing you all these characters and the way they looked at these 2 random people coming into their town, right?
Yeah.
And just the vibe they were giving, it just seemed like they just were, each one of them wanted to take a knife and put it in someone's stomach.
Yeah.
Like, it just gave me the vibes of like, okay, obviously all these motherfuckers know something's going on. Obviously all these motherfuckers are involved with something. Obviously these motherfuckers are all shady of some sort. Like, what is the overall end game for this? And this is another great point that Aaron brings up, and that's honestly a bummer because it takes away from the killers and being unsettling. And that was the whole vibe of The Strangers was, the whole, like, Aaron brought this up too. The ultimate line of, why are you doing this? Because you were here. Like, they had no motive, no reason. They don't know these people at all.
Yeah.
The simple fact, because they were home and in the middle of nowhere, and it was a couple, and it was a 3-on-2 scenario. That was the sole purpose. Now you go into Strangers Pray at Night. Obviously not a great sequel. I think it's still a fun movie overall because it kind of took it to another level of cheesiness for me in a good way, because I think some of the fight scenes in that film are just hilarious, especially when they're in the pool area.
Yeah,
it's so fucking funny, right? But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm still gonna watch chapter 2. I'm still gonna watch chapter 3 because I'm just not gonna leave this unfinished. There's so many unanswered questions that I need answered.
100%. I gotta finish. I mean, I've already started. I can't. It takes a lot for me to not finish a bad movie or a bad movie series, and I will say I didn't think it was bad. I will agree the guy actor wasn't the best. There were certain choices in the movie where I was just like, can we be a little smarter? But it's a horror movie.
Yeah, that's what are you gonna do, right? So we'll see. Aaron makes a good point though. Like, we're hoping that it could start shitty and then end really well. So
yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm hoping the process just plays out itself, and maybe we'll get some a positive ending to this very rough start to a rebooted franchise.
2 more movies, right? 2 more movies.
2 more movies, chapter 2 and chapter 3. So obviously we know chapter 2 is going to be a filler. So how are we gonna get to the ending to chapter 3? That's exactly what Halloween Kills was. Like, I know this movie's gonna be a filler, so how are we gonna get to Halloween Ends?
Yeah.
And it wasn't the best way, but
hopefully
it was
hopefully it's a good filler.
Hopefully we'll see. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the major horror films coming out, this year.
Okay.
There's probably some more out there that I missed, but from what Google's giving me at the moment on a quick notice, I mean, Until Dawn as well. The iconic PlayStation video game based on the Butterfly Effect, which had a very stacked cast. of people in the video game. So Until Dawn, I think we're getting a trailer for that today too.
Okay.
So yeah, Until Dawn looks fucking incredible. I was a huge fan of that game. I played that, and I think it was called Man of Medan. It was another horror video game, and I think it's called the Dark Pictures Anthology is the name of the saga. And they release all these different horror video games that have a lot to do with heavily on the decisions you make impact the way the game plays out for you.
Okay.
So
Also, this one will not. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm assuming it's probably not going to be at Horror Nights, but there's that new movie I just saw the trailer for. I think it came out today. Was like The Lady in the Yard or Woman in the Yard or something. Did you see that?
yeah, it's a woman in a yard, and the kid looks out to the woman in the yard is what it's called. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And I seen the trailer for that. It does look. I think Blumhouse is doing that, right? Or is it someone else doing it?
I think it is. I think it is Blumhouse.
But yeah, it does look pretty terrifying.
So, and that's supposed to come out pretty soon too.
Yeah. So for me, these are my top two options for what potentially can be those last two mazes. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go The Last of Us Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like with the success of Part 1 and with the obviously the excitement of Season 2 coming out later this year, or in a couple months actually, and if you guys are fans of the game, if you're fans of the show, they did a lot of shot for shots in this show. So I think bringing the game is the best loophole that Halloween Horror Nights ever did, because they know they couldn't probably get the rights from Warner Brothers, so they got the rights from Sony, which probably was way more open to do it too. So first maze was incredible. I have nothing bad to say about that maze. If you know the game very well, like I do, and like a lot of people do, you are going to pick up on the Easter eggs. You're going to pick up on the sound effects. You're going to pick up on anything you can pick up on from that video game. And they did. They had Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson come back and actually record brand new lines just for that maze. So to see that commitment, and then, I will never forget that year when we had media that year, and Neil Druckmann, the director of the game and the show, and he's the creator, guy who runs Naughty Dog Productions, and Troy Baker, who voiced Joel and played Joel in the Last of Us video game, walked right past me, and I looked right at Troy Baker in the eye, and I'm like, hey, Troy, I just want to say, like, you're a fucking badass dude, and I'm a huge fan, and you've been a big part of my childhood growing up, and now you're a huge part of my adulthood. And everything you do is just incredible. And he was just like, hey man, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Like, I'm like, nah, dude, like, thank you. So I mean, it's those fanboy moments, and Troy was really cool. Neil, he had a big smile on his face because he was standing next to Troy, and he could tell I was a fan. And I even looked at Neil. I'm like, Neil, don't even think that I'm not gonna thank you either, because this is your brainchild, and these guys brought it to life. So, I mean, I'm for The Last of Us Part 2 coming. I love the franchise. I think it's two incredible video games. I know 2, and I've talked about this last year on Nights of Horror Radio, but I know 2 has a lot of controversy when it comes to that video game, because something got spoiled by a lot of people. That's your fault for reading that stuff. Just saying. I stayed away from it, and I still enjoyed the fucking video game. So, I want to see Last of Us 2. And then if I had to choose a second one, only because I know everyone says it every year since the movie came out, I definitely would love to see Five Nights at Freddy's come over to Halloween Horror Nights. And I know it's a speculation people have been giving off for like the last 2 years. Yeah. And it's going to be a speculation along with Scream and a lot of other property, The Conjuring, every single It. You know how many years I've been doing this, and I've been hearing It, Conjuring, and freaking Scream come to Halloween Horror Nights every single year. Someone speculates it. They want it. It's a property that's famous. They want it, and it's a money drawer. So
okay. So for me, I'm thinking of a few things, and one of them, and it. Thanks to you, I did think of it, but well, thanks to you're. I'm gonna give you credit for 2 of them right now.
Okay.
So one of them I would like to see there is The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay.
Especially with the new season coming out, I don't think we're gonna get, as far as what HBO is gonna show us. I don't think we're gonna get the full everything that happens in the video game in this season. But I think so that's kind of like the tough part for me, is like, are they willing, is Horror Nights willing to give us like season 2 or part 2 video game style? So are they going to do that? So that's one thing.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. Are they going to do it?
Well,
Would they?
and Aaron says Sony needs money right now, so that's why they're so open to just
Yeah.
renting out their IPs
their
for
IPs and
a certain amount of
properties and
time.
stuff. So I mean, I'm okay with The Last of Us. Sign me up if your part 2's coming. The first one
I'm there for it.
was amazing.
It was stunning.
I think probably the best maze that
I
year.
will go as far to say it's probably in my top 3 of all time of
Okay.
any maze, as far as any haunt that I've been to. It is definitely, for me, it's in the top 3. That's how much I loved it.
I wouldn't argue with you. For me, I feel like maybe top 5. I wouldn't put it any
And that's fair. And we're talking. You and I are both talking out of every haunt we've been to.
Yeah.
That is. I mean, that's a lot of mazes. A long list of
for
mazes
sure,
right there. So
for
I mean,
sure.
that
And then,
tells you.
And everyone looks for something different, but definitely, like, I mean, who, like, it could be, 5, 4, 3, 2 even maybe. I have one that's always been my favorite, maze house since
Right.
I've gone, but definitely in the top 5. Another one, and I don't know how likely it is to come, but we did get the movie last year, and I'm only thinking of it because I see it right there on your shirt. So
Say his name and he shall
Yeah.
appear. And I'm
Yeah,
not
so
talking about
maybe-
Joe Hendry.
Exactly. So maybe we get that. We thought we were gonna get it a while back.
Listen,
Maybe.
that was one of the whole reasons, on top of the 30th anniversary, that was one of the whole reasons why I went out to Florida, was because I knew we weren't getting it, so I wanted to go see it. And sadly, I just had bad run-throughs with Cass, but visually, the maze was stunning.
Yeah. So maybe we get. I don't know if we're gonna get the new movie or the original, or the first one, I should say. But a variation of Beetlejuice, I'd be okay with. But what I really want to come to Horror Nights this year is, I would like Squid Games to come to Horror Nights.
Now, okay.
Go ahead.
I've never seen Squid Games, right? And I'm
Okay,
planning on
okay.
to pretty soon. I'm going to finish the show I'm currently watching. I'm watching Barry right now. You ever seen Barry on HBO?
Yes, I have.
I'm on
It's a great
season
show.
2 right now,
Great
and
show.
it's so good.
Great
I'm
show.
hooked on
Love
it right now.
Love it.
I love Bill Hader. He's hilarious. And to see
He's
him in a
awesome.
more of
He's
in a drama role, it's great.
Yeah, he's awesome in that show.
Yeah,
Love it.
he's great in that show. If you guys check out Barry, you could take your time with Squid Game. Okay, sounds good, because Squid Game 2 left on a stupid fucking cliffhanger, so you got to wait for season 3. I heard recently they just announced they're doing a whole cinematic universe. Like they're gonna do Squid Games
Well,
US,
Yeah.
like
they're
Squid
supposed to
Games
do
World.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be a whole ass thing. And I heard like they're gonna get some well-known actors to do like the US versions and stuff. But so this is how dumb I am and didn't even realize, because Netflix is a global app. They are available just about anywhere now, right?
Yeah,
so that's a lot of languages, right?
Right.
My dumbass thought that this entire thing of Squid Games, I was gonna have to read the whole ass show, like the movie Parasite, and I happily did with Parasite. Parasite was a great fucking film, and I thought I was gonna have to read the whole show. That's why I've been putting it off for so long. It wasn't up until like a few weeks ago, someone's like, there's a dub feature on Netflix where you can hear them talking in English, right?
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, I didn't, but now I do. It's gonna make me want to watch the show now.
Yeah.
I tried to tell Hayes that we should watch it. She told me, this was her exact response. I thought it was adorable. She told me, she was like, how about you watch it and test it first, and then if it's good, then you let me know. And I'm like, okay, so you basically just told me no in the nicest way. I mean,
Yeah.
that was adorable. But no,
said
she
you have to get the approval. Yeah, she has to get the okay that it's good enough. to
yeah,
watch the
I got to
first.
be the tester,
Yeah.
and then we can watch it together,
Yeah.
right? But no, I mean, I'm going to watch it eventually. I know, yeah, everybody keeps saying season 2 left on a fucking cliffhanger. Is it horror enough? I don't think it's horror enough. Like from what I've heard,
it's gory enough.
it's gory enough, but
it's
like
gory enough.
I don't think.
I think it works, and this is why. This is why, because I won't spoil anything for you.
I mean, I'm well aware of the games. I'm well aware of them.
That's an element to itself right there. You got the games, you got the gore in the games, but also I'm thinking like the sets in this series. I think they would play really well, just the way that everything's designed, the different you got the all the bunk beds where they keep them. You got the hallway where they have to go through every time they go to a different game. You have all
I know none of what he's talking about, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
So I'm just listening.
Yeah,
I'm assuming
so-
I will figure this out when I watch it.
So once you start watching it, but I think once you watch the first episode, you will understand. Like, okay, I could see this being a scary maze. It's definitely not like slasher horror, but there is violence throughout. There's horror, not so horror, but kills, death, and I think if they do it right, I think it would work.
I kind of just contradicted what I just said, because what I said was, is Squid Game's horror enough to be a maze? And you talk about everything you talked about, and I think about mazes in the past that are kind of similar to that, and the one that came to mind right now was the first Purge. It's not really a horror movie. It's more, I looked at it as like more of an action thriller movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because there's not really anything horror about it, other than, the government made the New Founding Fathers. There was this group called the New Founding Fathers, and they rediscovered and redefined what America should be. And they start this holiday called the Purge, and every year it's all crime is legal. And the thought of that is pretty scary, because that means there's just about no limits. Obviously, there's a couple of rules and whatnot, but that means just about, you can kill, you could steal, like you could do all that shit, right? But when you really come down to the nitty-gritty of the Purge, there's always a drama / thriller story behind it, but there's a lot of action throughout that. Of people getting in fights and weapons and everything, and all these different traps. But that has, for some reason, translated really well to the horror genre and world. It may be categorized as a horror movie. I just never saw it that way. I think there's
same here.
It's more of always been like an action drama thriller.
I've always seen it as more like a home invasion, more action movie. I didn't think of it as a horror movie. The only thing that you would even, the fact that they just wear the masks, like they wear masks, that could be a horror element. But I don't think it's like a horror movie. But
so, Aaron makes some good points. The psychotic obsession with money is pretty horror. It's kind of like post-apocalyptic with zombies and people being selfish and wanting resources. Then he also goes on to say, I think if it's murder all over the screen and worry about getting murdered should be classified as horror, something scary. Like murder mystery has a clear formula, but like Purge, zombie apocalypse, etc. The Strangers is home invasion, Hush, home invasion. The Purge is just murder, murder, murder because it's legal for 12 hours.
yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I contradicted myself, and I caught my mistake. And looking back at the history of Horror Nights, the Purge has been there many times. Yeah. And it's been obviously categorized or affiliated with horror to a lot of people, and obviously the Halloween Horror Nights. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to give Squid Games a watch this year. I'm going to finish up Barry first because I'm just so hooked on Barry, and I feel like I can finish that way faster than I can probably finish Squid Games right now because of how short the episodes are. But I'm already on season 2, so that shows you how invested. And I just started this shit like last weekend, so that shows you how invested I am. I'll tell you this right now, real quick tangent about Barry. Watch the first episode, and there's a scene in the first episode where he gives this incredible monologue of what he's good at doing. And I saw that exact clip. Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about, where he talked about I'm good at killing and all that. I saw that clip for the first time on TikTok, and I was like, that whole monologue just sold me. And that's the first episode. If something like that in the first episode can sell me for the rest of the series and set it up perfectly like that, I'm invested. I'm hooked. I'm in. And they did that perfectly with that first episode, and now I'm already on season 2, making my way through that, and I got my buddy at work hooked on it. He like told me over the weekend he binged the first season, and now he's on season 2, and so it's like
it's a great show.
it did, and we always talk about HBO does not make bad shows.
Oh no,
they don't.
No.
You know, you got Game of Thrones, your favorite, The Sopranos, The Wire. You know, Boardwalk Empire was a huge show for them as well.
Yeah.
6 Feet Under was a big show for them. The Last of Us. You know, they Chernobyl was another huge show for them. Now they're doing, you know, the spinoff of Game of the House of the Dragon. You know, they've done all these great shows. They can't do wrong in my eyes.
Oh yeah, they invest. They spend.
Take their
money
time.
Yeah, they don't rush stuff. God knows they don't rush stuff. I waited for years for Game of Thrones to come out.
Still disappointed.
Yeah, well, I mean, the last season's whatever. The last season was just that. Last season was more. That was more.
Where they already surpassed all the books, so they were just kind of making shit up as they go.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they were talking.
The creator,
J. R. Martin. I think it was like J.R.R. Martin or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I just call him Martin. My boy Martin. Yeah, they. I think he had.
Good old Marty.
Yeah, I think he had did 4 or 5 books.
Yeah, because he was
5 books done.
It's not about the books being surpassed, but being an excuse for. So it's not about the books being surpassed, being an excuse for season 8. I mean,
no, season 8. I mean, I love Game of Thrones, and I'll say season 8.
Yeah, I can't really speak on this. This is all you.
Season 8 was more. It was horrible. It was horrible.
He said it was the dog shit writing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. But they were already out. Like because everyone on the show wanted out, so they were just like,
let's just end it.
Yeah, finish it.
Everyone but Jon Snow. He wanted to stay. He actually got depressed after he finished.
Yeah, well, I think they're still doing something with him too.
He's getting a spinoff. It's supposed to be a sequel show actually to pick up where he left off as.
Yeah, but they're doing it. I really want to see. I think it's the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. What did he say?
He said how to build up a big bad and then go psych. Well, I'm assuming you're talking Daenerys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because doesn't Snow kill her at the end?
Yeah. Dude,
see, I know so much about the show and I've never seen. I've watched the whole first season. I'll give you that much.
Like her turn. I mean, there was like inkling of her.
He said no, she was not the big. Who was the big bad then?
No, I mean she ended up being like the villain. And
well, yeah, because she went on a. I remember the scene because the scene where she blows the fucking village, the Kingdom Come with the dragon.
Unless he's saying like Jon Snow,
the Night King.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, but the thing is they got rid of him so early in the season. I think it was like there was
because he said he was built to be the big bad, but then I guess
yeah, and then he got iced so fast.
But that scene where she's on the dragon and she burns the whole village, right? I saw that with someone put For Whom the Bell Tolls over it.
Oh, okay.
And it looks so fucking bitchin'. It was probably the coolest thing I ever seen. But yeah, I can't speak much on that show. I know from what I've seen the first season, a bit slow the first season, but from what everyone tells me that the first season's slow and then it starts really picking up season 2 and then on and so forth.
I like season 1 just because it's all story building, and then but once you get past season 1, it's
now
more...
in your opinion, and they're both HBO shows, what had the better ending? Game of Thrones or the Sopranos? But Sopranos just cuts to black. I mean, I finally watched the video of David Chase explaining why that is.
Yeah.
And now watching it more and kind of understanding what was going on inside the diner, I was like, oh, that was a sign of him getting whacked.
Yeah. Like there was so many.
But it pissed so many people off.
Oh, and that's why I loved it so much, because it was like because even at the time when it happened, like people they had said
they thought their cable cut out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Like, but story wise, like people were like, well, I need to, like, what happened? And they said like he died. Like people were coming out saying like he died, he got killed, because they show this, and they show his perspective, like they show,
because like it's all a bunch of different people that he kind of was involved with, different gangs, right? Like, or he came across with.
No, it was like just the way they showed. It was like different shots. So they would show like they would show the door, the bell at the door opening. They would show his face, and then they would show like what he saw. So like it was like repetitive, like it happened
And they
throughout this
showed a
entire
bunch of different
scene.
random people in the diner.
Right, except for that one guy who he was in the members only jacket, and they go into like detail. This is obviously later on years, like people have broken down, but the guy in the members only jacket who they're like they don't know who hired him, or he could have been the one, and it's very reminiscent of the Godfather, where he goes to the restroom to get the gun to come out and like shoot him. So it's just it's like kind of wax poetic, like the story, like this is Tony's favorite movie,
Oh,
and
man.
this is how he gets killed. So, dude,
And they
I love
fucking played that stupid song, "Don't Stop Believing." God, I hate that song. I hate it so much.
but then too, like, okay, I'll say this, and then that'll be it. Like the beginning of that episode, the way it opened up, it was Tony like laying on his back like he was dead, like how you would how they place bodies
In a
the
funeral,
casket.
yeah.
Yeah. So he was laying down like that. So it was like foreshadowing of his death at the beginning of that episode. So
And just when you thought The Sopranos was dead, The Many Saints of Newark came out.
yeah,
That was a good
but
movie,
it
by
was
the
a
way.
good movie.
He did a
It was a
great
good
job,
movie.
his son. And his son, I just saw today, his son is going to be in Daredevil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they show him real quick in a shot. And I'm like, good for you getting more
Nice.
gigs. The next Gandolfini to take the fucking reins right here, man.
Yeah,
I can't
nice.
wait.
But yeah, so I'm gonna go with, obviously, The Sopranos is probably the best series finale ending ever.
Okay, I'll give you this, Aaron. That is probably the only time I've liked that song in a film. He said that song fucks, especially in The Losers. In The Losers, okay, in The Losers, it was a different scenario. You got fucking Chris Evans singing the shit out of that song, about to do he's doing a job, and it leads to a fucking funny ass scene of like him putting up air guns and acting like he's shooting people. Like, that's a different story. I fuck with it on that movie, but in my opinion, the song is so overplayed. I can't stand it anymore.
Oh, that's when he was like that. Someone else was sniping, right? And like
Jeffrey Dean Morgan was the sniper.
Yeah.
And he kills everyone.
Yeah.
Such an underrated movie. It's such a good movie.
It was a good movie. I haven't watched it in a long time, but it was a good movie.
We're gonna take a short break, play our last song because we are coming near. I know it's getting very late. But that's just what happens when you just go naturally, man. It's just good content, if you ask me. If you've stuck around this long, either on the live stream or if you're watching the pre-recorded version on YouTube, thank you so much, Aaron. I'm talking to you. Thank you so much for staying here for the long run. We're gonna take a short song break, and then when we come back, we're gonna react, and then we're gonna say goodnight and sign off for today. But so far, incredible show. Very happy of what we've talked about. I think we kind of, all the horror news that I had, we kind of talked about it throughout the episode as we were supposed to be talking about a Halloween Horror Night speculation map. That's just how much me and Rob go. But this last song, you want to introduce this last artist? Because I don't know how to pronounce their name.
Is it the girl?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how to pronounce her name either.
Amira
It's like
Elfaki.
Efiki or something like that. Yeah.
Elfaki.
I think it's like Amira Efiki.
I'm sorry if I butchered the name, the last name especially. Will You Love Me When I'm Dead is our next song. That final song for tonight. Am I going to cry listening to this song?
No, you're not.
Is it a metal song?
Yeah.
The slow song?
Yeah, just play it.
That was good song. Good song choices tonight, honestly.
Yeah. That's how I roll.
That's your gym playlist, isn't it?
It is my gym playlist.
It
is my gym
Just
playlist.
clanging and banging. I can feel it, bro. I see it. Incredible show tonight, Rob. 100% mean that. This was probably one of the funnest episodes to date of Nights of Horror Radio that I've done.
I had a blast.
Probably one of the longest episodes of Nights of Horror Radio to date that I've done. I mean, I'm gonna have to.
We both like to talk.
We do. I mean, I'm still gonna chop out all the music for the YouTube version. I'm sorry, YouTube, you don't get the full experience. If you wanna see the full experience live, I know I go live late, and I know a lot of people are already asleep. I work nights, so it's hard for me to do something during the day. But check us out on Twitch live. You can follow us on the Nights of Horror. We got a lot of things coming. We game. We do, obviously, this is the home of Nights of Horror Radio Live. And Frightful Film Club coming soon. Next Thursday, we're going to watch 28 Weeks Later. Or 28 Days Later, I'm sorry. Why am I jumping to weeks already?
And then you're going to know where I got my giraffe joke from.
Oh, you're stealing it from movies.
Yeah.
I thought that was an original joke, and I'll give you all the
No.
credit for it.
No,
And
technically, it's not even the joke isn't from the movie. Like it's a joke. It's a
yeah,
joke.
it's an
They
old
just
joke.
it's an old joke.
Yeah, but the movie probably made it famous.
Yeah, that's where I got it from.
From what I heard, Killian's only in the first one. So is he in the second one? No.
No, he's only in the first one.
And he's not going to be, they just came out and said he's not going to be in the third one, but they do have plans. They have an open door policy if he wants to come in and be, because they're supposed to be doing a trilogy now of the next franchise. So he could appear maybe at the end of this next one and as a surprise.
I will say this, though. And like the second one, was it 28
weeks?
28 weeks later, probably better than 28 days. Like the sequels, I think better than.
Is it because there's more money put into it budget wise, you think?
No, I know.
Or story.
The first one is good. Like the first one is
Oh,
really
I
good.
remember I did try watching it one day. I started it and I just tell by the camera. I'm like, okay, this was kind of low budget, but I'm with it.
Oh yeah, it's very I'd say low budget. I just think it was very grounded. And that's what made it so good.
They try to make it more grimy and shit on purpose to give it that apocalyptic feel.
Yeah, like not so much handy cam, but yeah, like boots on the ground kind of.
That's what Aaron just said.
What did he say?
That was the style of the film.
Yeah. I think the second one was better, obviously because they had more money, but I just think story wise a little better, and just overall like zombies and where they go with it.
So Aaron says the zombies in 28 Days Later are the most terrifying in his opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, those are oh dude.
Where does the movie take place at?
It's over in London.
Oh, so they're overseas.
Yeah, they're overseas. It's not here. It's overseas.
Okay. Yeah, he said London.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I you know me, I'm currently trying to finish up Peaky Blinders right now. I'm on season 5, and I think after that we just have 6, and then we're ready for the movie. Peaky Blinders is a great show too. I'm a big Cillian Murphy fan. I go as far back to I know 28 Days was before this, but when I was first introduced to Cillian as a movie watcher was actually Batman Begins.
Okay.
His role as the Scarecrow, I think, is probably one of the best Scarecrows. I think it's one of the only live action Scarecrows we've seen, unless Gotham did it, but Gotham probably did it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But his Scarecrow is, I think, very underrated. I don't think people talk about it enough. But I loved his role as Jonathan Crane. It was a very grounded, very realistic version of Jonathan Crane.
Dude, when he was in there and he was like, I know, like I'm not very scary, and then he like starts flipping over his briefcase and he's all, but
you want to see my mask?
You want to see my mask? These, what does he call them? Like these crazies, or they just can't stand it.
And then he fucking puts on the mask and then gives him the fucking gas. And then, not to mention, my favorite part was when all of Gotham was flooded with the fear toxin.
Oh yeah.
And he comes in on the horse. She's like, Dr. Crane, what's wrong with you? He's like, not Crane, Scarecrow. And I was like, oh my God, dude. And he, if you pay attention, is the only one that appears in all 3 of the movies.
Yeah.
Some way or form. And then I know because the third movie, it was supposed to be Heath Ledger in the court scene when they're banishing the GCPD out into the ice.
Yeah, and they're exiling them.
Yeah, it was terrible. But it was supposed to be Heath Ledger's Joker, and unfortunately he passed away after, or I think during the making of The Dark Knight, or a little bit after The Dark Knight was done. So they brought Cillian back and reprised his role as Scarecrow, and he did it. And I think he did a good job. I would love to see what Heath would have done, but he did a good job too.
Yeah.
And of course, Oppenheimer is a no-brainer. But yeah, I'm excited, man. Fireful Film Club. And then next week, another episode of the podcast. We're going to have another great guest that I will not announce yet because I have not recorded that episode yet. And I don't want to tell you guys something and then it doesn't end up being that. So there's that. But 2 more weeks of Carnival Takeover, and we are going on to February, our next takeover, which will be announced in a post-credit scene next week on the podcast. So stay tuned for that. Rob, you got anything going on? Anything big? Haunt Talk is coming back pretty soon. So
we got a couple episodes we're gonna shoot this weekend, and really excited for a few people we got lined up. I think that's that's kind of it right now. I'm trying to. So the goal is
The goal is to lose 20 pounds.
the goal is to lose 20 pounds so I can fit in my sweater. And also, I'm gonna try and I say this all the time, but this time I'm serious. I'm gonna try and I don't know if it's revamp or restart up regularly on the fence movie reviews. So
I was a little curious of. I
yeah,
just figured you guys all got busy.
yeah. I mean, we did get busy. But I have enough time to shoot a review.
I'm excited.
So
I gotta jump back on there
yeah,
too.
the Wolfman is gonna be probably the first one back. I was just like, new year, I'm gonna start it up and I'm gonna keep it going because yeah, I like doing the movie reviews. So
They're great. Go check out On the Fence
So-
movie reviews. Go subscribe on
yeah,
YouTube.
so that's probably the next thing. So yeah, Haunt Talk, and then always the Howling. The thing with the Howling Hour is
Howling
guy's-
Hour posts when he wants to.
yeah, that guy's a weirdo.
I
That guy's
think
a
I think
weird-
Howling Hour has since we've brought you on board and since you've just fucking took the haunt world by storm. I think since the inception of the Howling Hour, it's drastically changed in a positive way to more photography.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
And I don't think it's a bad thing because I think your photography is really good. I'm constantly hitting you up for photos. I think a couple of your photos actually made some thumbnails.
Yeah.
For Character Appreciate or for the Carnival Takeover.
Right.
So it is. Yeah, go follow Howling Hour on Instagram for all the latest photos, especially when he goes out to events. He loads up on photos and releases them as time goes on, so he has content to release. But
Yeah.
you can catch him on the Howling Hour platform all across the board, and of course Haunt Talk with new episodes coming soon. I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you guys made it this long, we appreciate each and every one of you.
You're
Troopers. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for sticking for all of our random tangents in between speculating. And we appreciate each and every one of you. We will be back. I don't know when we will be back on the air with Nights of Horror Radio, but we will be back on the air next week on our Twitch page for the Frightful Film Club for 28 days later next Thursday at midnight. Join us here on Twitch. We're gonna do a one-time viewing for everyone. Let's see what we go. Let's see how it works out. I mean, like I said, I see these motherfuckers streaming Monday Night Raw here on Twitch every single week, and they still continue to do it every single week. So I think we're in good hands. And even if I have to bootleg a version of like mirroring the TV into a mirror so you guys can see that, like I will find a way, I promise. But
we'll figure it out.
It's all about trial and error. And if it doesn't work out on Twitch, then I guess that's that. But until then, I'm your host, Anthony. My amazing co-host right there, the Howling Hour. He's Rob. And we will see you guys very soon for another episode of Nights of Horror Radio and just Nights of Horror in general. Love each and every one of you. Stay safe out there. SoCal strong. Thank you to all those first responders.
Yeah.
We love you. We appreciate
thank you.
and we are extremely thankful and grateful for you.
Yes.
Until then, stay spooky.